recording.
Well, last time was a short session summary because a lot of it was dungeoning. You guys went to the Plane of Dreams, fought through your various dream manifestations, eventually making your way to where Grom Grinkilla, the counselor, was holding King Burt Shadow, defeated him, freed the king of its effects. Afterwards, the king was no longer feeling his best. He felt deteriorated by age and the effects of the past few weeks. Stepped down from the throne and joined the Council of Elders, meaning that Khuros would become the king of Esseray, and he asked Jarsali to be the crown prince. Cyril, Jarsali's son, was sentenced to banishment, and the party, I think, decided that they were going to bring him with you guys back to the Empire.
Well, to the Alliance first, but
Yes. And we had a little bit of time left in Lavanora, the capital of Esseray. And I think there was a few other things to do. We have a duel between Rogar and the soon-to-be king.
If he
Kill
makes
him,
it that
Rogar.
long.
Kill him, Rogar. Put Jarsali on the throne.
Do it.
So, question for you, Thomas. Actually,
Mhm.
kind of unrelated. The Grinkilla guy is he in any way related to Callista's patron? Because there's some similarities.
Not directly, no.
Okay.
But they are similar. They are similar type beings. They are far realm aberrations.
Okay.
That can't really be totally destroyed. Like Rom Grinkilla is a legend from a long time ago. They'll come back eventually, and a much later, probably after you're all long dead. Yeah, they're similar eldritchy aberrations, but probably not directly related.
Okay. The Grinkilla is probably weaker than Callista's patron.
Certainly weaker.
Slightly off topic. When everyone else dies and Boots is like 3,000, can she become a patron?
Mm-hmm. A patron archfey?
Yeah, there is an archfey patron. Boots would have to get real strong.
I mean, she kind of already is in an alternate. We have a multiverse in D&D now, and in our Westmarch server, she already is, right?
This is true.
Maybe once she completes her item, she can.
I mean, this is many years from now,
Yes.
when she's taken over the entire world and then got bored with that and let it grow into its own thing and then become, an archfey.
Yeah. Well, as you guys are kind of spending the rest of your time here in Lavanora, now able to relax a little bit, I'm assuming Jarsali would want to, of course, being congratulated everywhere she goes, everyone letting her know that they're everybody's giving her the speech of, we knew you could do it. We always knew you were going to be the one that was going to be the crown prince. Everyone's thanking her everywhere she goes and giving her congratulations.
Paparazzi swallowed her around.
But I'm assuming she'd want to show you guys around the city. And
Yeah, Jarsali had kind of something in mind for everybody. So Tokaran already kind of stumbled across it by getting him access to the Conorante library as well as the Tower of Knowledge. And Rogar getting to get smacked around by the soon-to-be king was his gift. She knows how to really give those gifts out. So one morning for Boots, she would get Boots up early and just take the two of them out. We would pay a quick visit to the soon-to-be king's daughter just to catch up, and then Jarsali would take Boots to one of the many bridges around the city, and the city is kind of built like along the canyon of a river, and would introduce her to this kind of elderly-looking gnome who is the leader of the local druidic sect, and would basically tell Boots, the city is picturesque and beautiful, but the druids get to experience the city in a way that really nobody else can, and she arranged for the leader of the druidic order to take her on a flying tour of the city in a way that only druids can experience the capital city.
Ooh. How do they fly?
By doing druid stuff, I assume you can turn into something that can fly.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
That's why only druids can do it.
That would be a Boots thing too. Oh yeah, I forgot I could turn.
You turn into a bird. All right.
He's like, wow, how are we gonna get there? And they're just like, yeah, but Boots, can you?
Yep. I'm
I
tired,
wonder
guys.
if Decorin knows the spell fly.
Yep. She will do
I think
that.
you're high enough level to turn into flying things too.
Yes, I am. Very much so.
Been
That's
that way
Many
for a
levels.
while.
50th level druid? Yeah, definitely so.
That was so many levels ago.
Yeah, it was.
What's like sixth level or something like that, maybe?
I think it's like 8th,
Oh, okay.
because I think 6th is water.
It's been so long since you transformed into an animal, I'm re-convinced that you're a ranger.
This answer only further certifies my conviction that you are in fact a ranger.
This is fair. The worst kind of druid.
You're gonna have to move into the Crown Princess Manor.
Or have it set up for me anyway while I'm gone.
Well, you know, it's
I
right
have
down the
people do-
road. It's not a big deal.
I have people do that for me, Corinne. I don't
Oh,
move
sure.
myself, right?
Yeah. Moving plebeians, please.
That's right. And then one evening, same day, next day, I don't know, whenever, one of these evenings, Jarsali would find Kryn and take him out and kind of walk him outside of the main city center down towards kind of the area of the city that's closer to where the commerce comes from other places. It's a little more targeted, less towards the locals and more towards travelers. And on the way, she would kind of explain, I was trying to find something that I think everybody would enjoy, and it was really hard for me to think of something for you, but actually, I think you have a similar tastes as my father. He likes a good smoke and a good drink, and so there's a place in the city called Kia. It's like an establishment that makes sure it has the widest variety of wines and spirits in the city. They import them from all over the kingdom and also from abroad, and they have a huge collection of various cigars and pipe plants that you can smoke, and they always have kind of a low key, really like well regarded. Think like D&D jazz music, almost kind of ambiance.
Cigar lounge.
It's a cigar lounge, yeah. So gonna take Kryn to a cigar lounge where they can enjoy some smokes and some spirits and some music and just have a quiet evening at a place that she feels Kryn would be able to kind of decompress away from the courts and relax a little bit. And that would be pretty much it.
Kryn would ask for. I imagine they would probably have a lot of cigars that he's never had before, so he would go to the tobacconist and be like, just give me something exotic and interesting.
I imagine they'd have only things you've never heard of before from your poor gutter living.
Well, I mean, he's lived in the Empire for a while. Like
That's true, but they're a little more sophisticated here. You're not. This is
so
not.
these
this
are like
isn't,
Davidoff cigars. I got you. Okay.
the stuff that you're getting in the Empire is like stuff that the soldiers and the guards use. This is like, oh yes, this is from our druids. It's a traditionally made, traditionally rolled, made out of our finest ancient bark from the Elders Grove. It's like it's a whole different thing.
Bark. that would be horrible. So is it rolled? Is it like is it book rolled or is it entabado or?
I mean, it probably. I don't know enough about cigars to have this conversation with you.
You forget I worked in cigar lounges for 6 years. So
Oh, I didn't forget. You remind me a lot.
You gotta make your own thing with this one. It's whatever you would want it to be in real life.
Okay, so I'll just imagine it because I won't explain it because none of you guys would understand.
But one of the, dozens of people that I'm sure are going to watch this video later that are cigar buffs. No, I'm kidding. Sorry.
So just when Aaron rewatches this.
Yeah.
Right. I'll just say that I'm imagining a Davidoff Oro. Pure to Oro.
All right, I'm sure all of our viewers will know what you're talking about.
Yeah, totally. It's right here in my head. I'm imagining it right now.
Smoking an Oreo. Got it.
No, Oro is gold in Spanish.
Oreo.
Golden
got
Oreo. Oh, the white Oreos with the vanilla inside. Cool.
it.
Okay.
go.
Anyways, did you have anything else, Brian?
No, that was pretty much it. Just kind of she wanted to do something a little bit for everybody. So
Kryn would really enjoy that. If he knew about this place like earlier, you probably never would have been able to get him out of it.
yeah, we were busy chasing off ethereal political shadows.
Yeah, he wouldn't have been there to see it though, so it would have been fine.
It's a good thing we didn't have you not there and throw this whole thing out of whack.
Well then, at some point, Khuros would, of course, oblige Rogar if Rogar would still like to have a sparring match with him.
Sure.
Not exactly the fairest fight in the world, is just as Jarsali does. There's a lot of psychic shenanigans he does, but I'm sure Rogar is not frightened and happy to give it a try. See if I can find the map for that. I lost my map. There's been so many maps on this campaign.
We'll
Too
find
many
a cigar
maps.
lounge. It's okay.
Too many maps.
We'll make sure not to mess up the cigar lounge too much while we fight in it.
Oh my god, what did I call it?
Jay, you made me think of Too Many Cooks. I don't know if you've seen that.
I have not.
It was a thing that was on Adult Swim some years ago. It was interesting, to say the least.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really know how to describe it.
So dramatic.
That there was a song that I kept recognizing, but I couldn't quite get what it was. Obviously, this isn't it. I know this one, but like in the middle of the night, I woke up and I remembered before going back to sleep. It was from Braveheart.
Braveheart does have a good soundtrack.
It does.
It couldn't possibly have been from Braveheart because I don't remember there being a significant amount of bagpipes.
It was a version of the Braveheart song that was strings instead of bagpipes for
Then
For
it's
the
not
lead line.
Braveheart song.
I mean, it's fair.
Well, everyone would make their way to the Conarote fight ring, of course, to see Karis Narel face Rogar the Destroyer. There'd be quite a crowd of people, mostly because people were following Jarsali around anyways. And as soon as people hear that their new king is going to step into the ring with a foreign champion, everyone comes to watch. So
For the last time, too. The last time he'll do it.
yeah, now next time you attack him, it's a crime.
It's treason.
It's treason, yeah.
It's treason.
Rogar's like, I'm not from here. It can't be treason.
Today it's sparring, tomorrow it's treason.
It's treason, then.
If he loses, he's just like, kill him, guards! And he would kind of look around at all of you and just be like, I apologize for the gathering. I would hope this would be a more intimate affair. I apologize in advance. Shall we then? And he just gestures towards the fight ring.
Gonna take a step up. I'm gonna pull out both my weapons, Blade of Thirst and Blood, and my glaive, trying to decide which one I'm gonna use.
As Rogar's kind of getting his gear ready, He's kind of using his blade of thirsting silver and his glaive, trying to like size up Khuros. You watch as the blade turns into the liquid metal form it was when you originally encountered it, and wraps itself around Rogar's usual glaive. And the liquid metal kind of extends out, enhancing the blade and hilt of the weapon.
Oh.
Oh.
Rogar looks at one hand, sees that the glaive is gone, look at the blade of thirsting silver. Has a little bit of a sad look, but takes out his shield and steps in the ring.
I think the sword wrapped around the glaive, not the other way around.
Yeah.
Oh. Right, so you've got the glaive, not the sword, or do you have the sword?
I have the sword, not the glaive.
Yeah, sorry, other way around. You want to roll initiative?
Great music for this, by the way.
Yeah.
It's a Fantasy Duels playlist on Spotify.
It's good.
Wow.
My dex is 14.
His is
20.
higher than 14.
Yeah.
Let's see, he will start off. Casting Mordekainen's sword. You watch as a sword kind of emerges. It kind of rips through this plane of existence and appears. And he grabs it into his hand and runs forward to attack Rogar with it.
Counterspell.
Rogar uses counterspell.
Would counterspell be treason? I'm not sure.
It wouldn't be in the spirit of things.
Nicole says that her internet's going out, so.
Oh, no.
Oh.
You'll have to watch the VOD for this part.
It's going to be 16 force damage.
If a 26 hits.
26 hits.
And I think, yeah, that's his action. So that's going to be it for him, and he will start his blade song.
Did he not use his action to cast Mordekainen's sword?
You get to attack with it when you cast it.
Oh, cool.
Rogar.
I will rage. And I need to look up something real quick. I am going to spend one charge on my Blade of Thirst and Silver to Thirst.
Ooh, okay.
So each hit against the target creature deals an additional 3 points of damage. This bonus is increased
so
by
the first time you hit by it, it does an extra 3 damage, and if you hit a second time, it does 6, and then 9, and then 12.
I see.
But if you miss, then the effect ends. It's only each consecutive hit you do extra damage.
Yeah, and once I hit him 3 times, it only adds 1 point of damage after.
Oh. 31 will hit.
All right.
So that plus 3. So
does that get rid of my thirst then, since I missed the very first attack?
Start of your turn. Yeah, it would. So you'd have to reuse the bonus if you wanted to do it again. Use another charge.
All right.
You want to do that? Not one.
Nah, since it's not the start of my turn, I can't do it.
Oh, that's right. All right, 20 damage then.
Yep.
Are you back, Nicole?
Actually,
Yeah.
I'm going to. His sword is like standing near me over here, right?
He's holding it.
The Mordekainen sword. He's holding
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So it's not like a whatever that pre-spell is. Cleric spell.
No, it's a magical sword that he holds.
Well, technically it says it. I mean, you can do it. You can wield it, I'm sure, but You can use it like a, like the priest thing. Yeah, the cleric spell.
Whatever that cleric spell. So is he holding that mortar cannon sword, Thomas?
I said yes for flavor, but it can attack on its own.
Alright. Well, I didn't. If it wasn't holding, I was gonna move to the other side to get out of the range.
Oh, let me see. I don't think the sword can attack you if you move out of it.
No,
it doesn't get
attacked. No.
Yeah.
So if he's holding it, it wouldn't really matter.
Right, but yeah, you can move out of its range. We'll say it's right here.
Then I will move over here to get out of its range. That'll be it.
All right. He will make an attack with his long sword. So he'd release the Mordekainen's sword. It would be floating off on its own here. He'd draw his long sword, or no, his short sword and his dagger. He fights with a weapon in each hand. He'll attack with his sword of song.
23 hits.
And his dagger.
Yep, that hits too.
And that's going to be it for him.
Is that action and bonus action for him?
He makes 2 weapon attacks. That's what. That's.
Well, then you should look into Mordenkainen's sword.
Yeah, it's a bonus action.
Yeah, but he can.
Oh, you're right.
He can move it and hit with it.
You are right. 15. That's gonna miss anyways.
All right. My turn. I will use the thirst again, and then I will attack him twice. Well, that first one does an extra 3 damage, so that's 20. If that hits.
23 would be his armor class, but he will shield.
I will use my bonus action to use Daunting Roar. He has to make a Wisdom save, DC 18, or be frightened of me. So he's frightened of me until the end of my next turn.
Man, what's your con mod?
5.
So it's a DC 18, I think.
Yeah.
Rogar. Oh no, wait, you just went.
Yeah, it's his turn.
His turn. He's frightened of you. But
I would have moved over to the other side. Get out of range of the sword again.
Oh, sure.
Well,
all at disadvantage.
So disadvantage 24 hits. So this Mordekainen's sword misses. Everything else hits.
All right. You're up.
I will. Do I want to use the last? Yep. I'm going to use the last charge of the Blade and Thirst in Silver to thirst again. Hopefully hit him this time. Twice.
There you go.
30 and 27.
Let's see. Those will both hit. He will use... Which one of those is... He would have to Song of Defense the first one, because he can't shield it. So he will expend a 3rd level spell slot. And take no damage.
Okay.
Okay, but
it
still hits, so he still gets the thirst, right?
Yep.
Yeah. And then the second one hits, right?
Yeah, because I think that's his reaction.
It is.
He doesn't have a reaction. Because the first one comes in, he can't shield it, so he has to use the damage reduction, which means the second one hits.
So the second one would hit for 24 then. Because it'd be +6 from thirst.
And wouldn't the first one have been 16 damage, so it would have done 1 damage to him?
Oh, then he would just use the 4th level spell slot. He's got a bunch of spell slots.
Sure.
He's not going to use them all in this fight.
And then I move to the other side to get out of range of this sword again. And that's it.
He's got a gooey center, though. He's already yellow.
Oh.
Oh, there's a crit, though.
Oh. Well, no, it's not an advantage. In fact, it's a disadvantage.
It's not a disadvantage anymore.
Oh.
The fear's
But
gone. It'll last one turn.
Only the crit hits.
424. And that's it for him.
I will move to the other side, get out of range of a sword again, and attack him twice.
He's gonna shield.
23 and 22.
Yeah, he would shield.
Alright, so those both miss.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Alright, that's the end of my turn.
I would just like to say, Brian made this guy's character sheet. Is a level 20 blade singer, so all this bullshit's not my fault.
And to be fair to Thomas, he's trying to read a lot of shit on there.
Why did you make it so much reading, Brian?
Hey, imagine if I would have made it a PC sheet.
By the way, is all that slashing and piercing damage supposed to be psychic damage?
No.
Okay.
He hasn't used any of the real Dicketry, to be honest.
I can't read all this! There's so much.
So what is worse?
Why isn't Brian just fighting as this character if he made it?
It's true. Brian could have done that, but we're already committed to the bit.
It's okay.
So who's worse, this guy or Schnicket?
Oh man,
Tough one.
this guy's just got like infinite shields and like infinite damage reduction, like so much. Yeah, so those are gonna miss there, and then he will cast
Power word kill.
Do it, I dare you. I have over 100 health, it won't work.
Counterspell?
imprisonment.
Ooh.
Actually, he wouldn't do that because it consumes a thing, and this is a friendly fight, so he's not going to spend a bunch of money on it.
Yep.
Now that I think about it, that doesn't make sense.
Of course, he's also the king and he's rich.
Yeah, but it's that you can't be wasting resources like that. On first day, you can't be burning spells on friendly duels that are super expensive.
9th level spells on friendly duels.
Those both miss. That hits.
All right, Rogar.
Gonna move to the other side. Attack him twice.
Ooh.
Those both miss.
Ooh, yeah, those are bad.
If only I attacked recklessly. Yeah, that's much.
I don't know if you want to attack recklessly.
I don't think I do because he has plus 13 to his attack, or 14. 13 and 14, yeah.
Well, by that logic, you're going to get hit most of the time anyway. I mean, you increase the chances of him getting a crit on you, but it makes you more likely to hit him.
We both have the same AC. Second one hits. And yeah, just a dagger.
All right, Rogar.
I will attack him twice.
Shield. Actually, yeah, he has to shield.
Alright.
I would just like to mention that at 20th level, because he's a defensive Blade Song person, he can cast shield every turn without expending a spell slot, which is so broken.
Wow. Now.
So basically his AC is 28 because of that.
Unless he uses his reaction if you hit him the first time. Because he's got to use it to reduce damage. I told you, 20th level Blade Song's pretty good apparently.
That just means you gotta roll a 15 or higher, so a quarter of your rolls should be hitting, but you're just rolling kind of low.
Yeah.
21 misses, I think, right?
Yep, those all miss.
All right.
Move to the other side again. 30. Or 60.
30 hits
damage.
even if you shield, so he will damage reduce it with his thing. He'll expend a 4th level spell slot.
Now, see, that's the bullshittery right there.
Yep, so the first one does 0 damage, and then the second one misses.
Too bad all of my defensive stuff is for when people attack other people.
Other
besides me.
people.
Yeah.
Otherwise, this fight would probably go on forever.
Rogar, it's your turn again.
4 hours later.
People have,
They're just-
people have
they're
already
just-
started leaving.
We're doing 3 Khuros episodes of Rogar fighting this guy.
This is a duel that never ends.
It just ends when they're both exhausted.
Yeah.
It's a draw. The whole crowd's just left. They're just like, it's a tie.
Alright,
It's like one of those super boring defensive MMA fights where
Sorry.
nothing happens.
Go ahead, Marcus. Sorry.
I'm gonna start attacking recklessly just to hurry this up a bit.
There you go. Oh!
There's a crit. A big crit. Oh, that's a big crit.
Yeah, and then with that, since I have the brutal thing added to my Blade Thirst and Silver, I get a reroll. I get to roll a D10 again since
Yeah.
I rolled max. So that would be 35, 38, 45 damage with that first hit.
Oof.
He will expend a 7th level spell slot to make that 0 damage.
Oh.
And then the
Hey.
second one hits for 17.
It would
He'll
have to be-
eventually burn through all of his high-level spell slots, though.
It's 45 damage for the
Guess it has
first
to be
one.
a ninth level spell, I think.
9th level spell. Yeah.
That's my fault. I'm bad at math. He'll use a 9th level spell slot.
He burned his 9th level spell slot for that.
Well,
Otherwise he's
he would've
dead.
gone down, yeah.
Yeah, he's a 45 damage on it. That's a lot of fuck all damage.
I mean, look, the 17 brought him into orange.
Look, I
Now
know
to
he's
a
in
40
fighting in melee, but let's not forget, this is a wizard.
Yeah.
True.
Alright, yep, that's it. He casts Meteor Swarm.
Everybody dies.
He can't. He doesn't have his 9th level spell slot anymore.
You, me, Jarsali, the crowd, everybody.
Everybody's dead. I cannot lose this friendly duel.
I protect Decor and I wouldn't die. It's okay.
He's going to create the shield, so he has a half cover at all times.
That only helps against ranged, though, doesn't it?
I don't think so, does it? No, cover works for melee attacks.
No, cover is only for. Yeah, I think cover only works for ranged attacks. I'm pretty sure.
It does give him damage resistance, though,
It's true. It does give him.
but
damage resistance.
only
Oh,
against elemental damage.
right.
No, you can use cover for melee attacks. Cover applies to trees and other obstacles. Trees and other obstacles can provide cover during combat, making a target more difficult to harm. A target can only benefit from cover when attack or other effect originates from the other side of cover. A target has half cover. This obstacle might include a tree or a creature standing around a corner or through a small doorway.
Okay, yeah.
So essentially, he's adding 2 to his AC.
So it's basically a 30 AC.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, you gotta go reckless to hit him reliably now.
the dagger hits. Since I attacked recklessly last turn.
Is that a bonus action? Oh, it is.
Yeah.
And Rogero, your turn.
It's a cool spell.
That's a strong spell. Yeah, it is. And it doesn't even consume the fancy item.
I will attack him recklessly twice again.
Yeah, crit him again!
So that's 29, 32 for that first one.
All right, 7th level spell slot.
All right, and then so the second one hits him for 17.
Oh man.
Does it?
It does.
That was-
Yeah, well,
with
it
the
would,
plus 2
yeah.
AC?
25 AC.
Ooh,
Yep.
And he can't shield because he uses reaction.
that's true.
Wait, I think Rogar might have this.
It's gonna be
That's
close.
The dagger hits.
All right, Rogar. He doesn't have Shadow Blade, Brian. Of all the things you could have given him, you didn't give him the psychic damage spell.
He doesn't have shadow, but he
Well,
has.
what
I know
about-
he has.
What about his bonus action? Doesn't he still have Mordenkainen's
Yeah, I was
sword?
gonna say you can still move Mordecai.
Well, last time he'd used this
No.
spell to give him the AC bonus.
Is
well, that was-
Mordenkainen's sword concentration?
No.
Yeah.
It's not.
It's not?
No.
Yeah, it is. Concentration up to a minute.
Duration. Oh, yeah, see 1 minute. You're right.
Oh, okay. I will recklessly attack him twice again.
Crit him again. Oh,
Nope.
31 though.
Okay,
31.
he'll use a 4th level spell slot.
For 21. He still takes 1 damage then.
That's fine.
That's it.
Oh, that'll hit.
That hits. Yeah,
30.
and that hits.
All right, Rogar.
I will recklessly attack him twice again.
22
gonna
misses,
shoot.
29 hits, and he'll.
Shield.
If he shields, it goes up. His AC goes up to 30, though.
So shield.
All right.
Because that doesn't cost a spell slot. His other shit does.
His turn.
25, 27.
Yep, those with it. You've only been rolling odd damage for all those.
Yeah, here's the other thing you're not doing, Thomas, actually. When he uses an attack action, he can disregard one of the attacks to use a cantrip instead, and then he wouldn't be doing slashing and piercing damage. He would be doing whatever the damage of the cantrip is.
What does he have for cantrip? You really should have piloted this fight, Brian. That's such a better idea.
Yeah, it is true. I definitely should have, yeah.
Oh, he could have been doing Mind Sliver every turn. You're right. He'll shield that.
No, it still hits with 30. Reckless
Ooh.
attack.
Okay, then he will use a spell slot on the first one.
Fourth level spell slot, he still takes 1 damage.
If and when Rogar wins, he just underestimated him, is what that is.
Well, now we have Mind Sliver, so we'll see how this goes.
But yeah, that's it.
So in theory, he should be able to make an attack, an offhand attack, and a cantrip.
Make an in save.
I don't like that.
Well, the bad thing about Mind Sliver too is that it basically banes you.
Subtract 1d4
Well, for the next saving
from the next
throw it
saving
makes.
throw it makes.
Yeah.
Before the end of your next. Okay. So basically, if he keeps on doing that, I can't make the save.
Yeah.
Unless he rolls a 1.
And
I
it should
rolled
be
that 20.
446 psychic damage, I think.
Yep, that's what I did. It just rolled really low on it.
He can attack once and then use a cantrip. He can't do 2 weapon attacks.
Well, no, if he
Okay.
has a bonus offhand attack, should be the dagger.
It says he can make 1 weapon attack and cast 1 cantrip.
Right, but if he's 2 up,
I see. You're right. He
can.
can't.
Offhand, yeah.
22 misses, I think.
Yeah, that misses.
All right, your turn.
Reckless attack again. 27, 29.
Damn.
Shield.
Phew.
Your turn. Those both hit.
Ooh, there's the damage.
And I fail it. Yep.
So 19 psychic and then 27 slashing. All right, your turn.
All right, 11 piercing.
Man, I could have been doing this
16
bullshit the whole time. This is great.
Yeah, I probably would have been down by now if you were doing that.
Yeah.
Reckless attack again.
What happened is he realized he underestimated him and had to step
There
it
it
up.
is.
That's exactly what it is. Yeah. That might do it.
How much
No,
did
he still has
mitigate?
an 8th level spell
He has
slot.
one 8th level spell slot right now, yeah.
So that's hang on, 19
44
plus 14,
damage.
44.
So if he
the
uses
4
that
goes
8th level
through,
spell slot, 4 goes through.
and
And then he still
13.
takes 13 from that other attack.
I think that downs him.
So that'd be 17 total.
Yeah, even with the reduction, he underestimates you, and Rogar manages to knock him down. And he just kind of puts his hand up and goes, "I yield, Destroyer." And everyone's like,
Oh.
And if Rogar could talk, he would say, "You're weak. Your bloodline is weak, and you will not survive the winter."
Then he breaks his neck and looks over at Jarsali and
It's yours.
rips the crown from his corpse and tosses it to her.
Yikes.
But instead, Rogar will put away his sword, reach out his hand, give him a handshake.
He stands up and he kind of raises your hand to the rest of the crowd, and everyone starts cheering. And he says, "That might be the toughest foe I've ever faced that wasn't a spellcaster." I must admit that was not what I was expecting when I heard you were a pit fighter. You're quite skilled.
I'll
What
go
were you
nod.
expecting?
Well, most pit fighters aren't, him.
I'm not really a pit fighter.
That'd be your... Kinda.
I just do it on the side.
Look, it's just a side gig, all right? It doesn't define me.
You fight in one pit and you're a pit labeled a pit fighter for life.
Win one championship round in a pit. God.
On accident.
Whoops. It was almost on a dare.
I was on a 25 health there, by the
And
way.
the tail of the destroyer is gone international. It's
It's another
traversed.
notch.
It's gone from the Empire to Lavanora, and the bards will sing songs of the time the destroyer fought the king. And now you're officially an international celebrity rather than a local one.
And now Rogar is gonna go take a nap.
The king's gonna have to go take a nap too.
And he's like, man, I got a fucking headache. I don't know what he was doing to my brain, but it hurt.
Rogar's like, why does everyone I fight have this bullshit head hurting magic?
Kinda, yeah.
The only way to stand a chance is the reason.
Yeah. Matching Rogar physically would... I'm trying to think of any of my characters that might have been able to, and the only one that might have had a shot would have been Pusk.
Callista
And-
would obliterate Rogar's brain.
That's true. Yeah, Callista would go... Psychic Scream, okay, you're stunned for life.
Rogar has to fight Hellbrim one-on-one.
If we're high enough level, I would be actually interested to see that.
Well, what will you guys do with the rest of your time?
Can I attempt to purchase some elven chain?
Certainly.
Just so you know, Jay, you won't be able to use mage armor with Elven Chain on.
Well, you know what's funny is that my mage armor brings my AC to 13.
Elven Chain on sane magic item prices is 4,000.
Chump change.
It's like, and keep
I mean,
saying.
it's not chump change, but yeah,
Was there any betting on that fight?
No.
No, it was no, there wouldn't have been. Wasn't that kind of fight.
Would everyone lost their money betting on the king?
Yeah,
Probably.
Would
Yeah.
have been great with Kryn playing the role of bookie. Take
I
your bets
would-
here.
I do want to buy it, but I would try to get a discount if I could.
I just imagine him being like a fight promoter. He's like, he's gonna bring down the king of the ring. Try to get a discount. Make a. Would they give you a discount? Let me try to think about this. They've given you guys a lot of stuff.
We saved the Emperor's life. Or the
I'd be,
king.
I'd be happy to roll a persuasion check if you'd like.
Roll a d10, and we'll say for every number it's minus 100 gold off the 4,000.
Okay.
3,200.
What a
Deal.
deal.
Very good.
What
deal.
a deal. What a deal.
Cool. Wonder if that's in here.
I think for the rest of my time, I would be focused on the original intent of our journey, which was to increase the Emperor's worldly
Street cred.
knowledge, wisdom, experience, all those things.
Well, he'd happily do so. He's happy to learn about your guys' culture and things like that. He would go around. He'd meet all the big muckety mucks, talk to them about kind of who he is and what he hopes the relationship between SRA and the Empire can look like. All that kind of good stuff.
How does it go over?
It goes well. I mean, you guys have already saved the king, and a member of your party's the crown prince. So, of course, you have plenty of people to vouch for you, and he seems to really enjoy being here. Although, kind of towards the end, you start to notice he's getting a little homesick. This is just really different for him, and while he's happy to have the experience, this has just been a lot over for the last 30 days for him, and he's getting a little worn out of all the politicking.
Culture shock, yeah.
Yeah, he's done a lot of politics, and he's kind of starting to feel a little tired.
Well, and that's unfortunate because next week is probably going to be the most important week of politicking of his life.
Speaking of the Emperor, am I still able to train with him every night or day?
Yeah, so there was 8 days left, so if you want to make 8 checks, you certainly can.
Yeah, that's just straight up strength, right?
Yeah, or athletics, I think.
Okay.
Pretty good rolls.
And what
Yeah.
was he making athletics checks for those as well, or was
Yeah,
it
you
intelligence?
had him making yeah.
Int checks, and they had to equal up to 25, I think.
First is a fail, second's a fail, third just passes, fourth just, and then the rest pass. So 1, 2, 3, 4 successes. So roll 4d10.
Should be 5 passes.
5 passes. You're right. For some reason, the last one got cut off from the others. Ooh.
Bad rolls.
Wow, yeah.
Can you imagine
that
casting?
homesickness is starting to wear on him, I guess.
Imagine casting a 5d10 spell and doing 11 damage. And
He
being
is slowly
sad.
but surely approaching 5th level here, though.
Huzzah!
I do think it's funny. I was 1, 2, 5, 2, 1.
5th level is
Same
probably
forward
the
as it is
biggest thing.
backwards.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
it's probably the biggest level in D&D is level 5.
What's that? What's that word for words that are like the same
Palindrome.
forwards and that's the one. Yeah,
Yeah.
like race car.
I'd
Yep.
like to spend some time while we're here, if I can, trying to see if we can set up any kind of trade deal between our two nations. If that would interest them, or if they'd have anything. I mean, I'm sure they would have stuff that we'd be interested in having, and vice versa.
I think that's probably certainly the case. They have all types of different metals, flowers, plants, foods, clothes, dyes, just a bunch of different natural resources that don't really exist in the Empire. Probably wouldn't get to set it up immediately. The hardest part of that's just going to be actually just the logistics of getting stuff from one place to the other because they're so far apart.
That's true, but both of our nations have teleportation magic capabilities.
It's true, but not many people. It's like
Well, we have a
They'd
teleportation
have to bother you.
circle, and
yeah, they don't want to have to
bother.
bother you. But who can cast teleport though? They have to bother you personally, or the king personally, or one of the princes personally every time they want to trade something. So it's not impossible. It's just something that they're going to have to work out the logistics of.
I would be willing to accommodate that. It's not. I mean, like, if we wanted to once a week put together shipments of things to transport back and forth, I'd be happy to do that once a week with them.
Yeah, I'll say you guys can absolutely work out like the beginning stages of a trade deal like that.
And do they seem rather, enthusiastic about it, or is it just kind of meh?
Yeah, I mean they're absolutely enthusiastic about it. But you guys pull a lot of weight right now because you've got Jarsali in the group.
Okay.
Like most negotiating is they look at Jarsali and see what she says. That's
Okay.
kind of how the political negotiations are going here.
Well, then I would send a message back to Chester, and the things that the commerce in particular that they seemed interested in. I would tell him that he should do what he can to start ramping up production of those trade goods.
Yeah.
In preparation for
Absolutely.
future trading with them. I think that's pretty much it for me while I'm here.
I just see it when we get back in the Empire. Councilman Tokaran, it's time for your weekly teleportation spell.
Sure.
Already? Yes, already. Just did it last week.
It's not really that much trouble.
Yeah, but you can't let them know that in negotiations. You have to make it seem like it's a big deal that you're doing it.
Well, and if you're ever not there, then there's no one to do it.
That's true. But theoretically, you can at a teleportation circle. It's just a matter of having a certain number of people to hold stuff. And you go there, and then you just come right back. That's the nice thing about teleportation circle. It's not a certain number of people. It's how many people can go through it in 6 seconds. Anyway.
build a rapid fire people cannon that just launches them through it.
Well, and I would also mention that we had been in talks with Lavencaster to set up a trade route through the Borderlands, and we're about to try to go make a treaty, which could also possibly include a trade route through the Alliance, which is right at the other end of the continent, where right across the water is this area. So
if you had the Borderlands and the Alliance, you would have
a one big long trade route that goes right through the entire.
I do have
continent.
one request though, which is, if we conclude a trade deal with the Alliance, I want to give Helgrim the news that that's been done.
Sure.
That is another thing, is we should probably have a discussion with the Emperor before we go to the Alliance on what his current headspace is regarding the General.
By the way, I would hand to Corin a note when you go around talking about all the trades and stuff.
Yeah.
I messaged you in Discord what it's about.
Oh.
Well, I don't know if the Emperor's thoughts about Helgrim would have really changed that much, other than he's seeing that these outside cultures aren't just the utter savages that Helgrim plays them out to be.
So we kind of talked with Helgrim about, or not Helgrim, but with the Emperor about Helgrim back in the gutter.
Yeah.
And he had a pretty seemingly good direction.
My speculation that is if and when he changes his opinion on Helgrim, it wouldn't be now. It would be when he gets back and Helgrim makes these statements that he knows are basically now just not true based on his own personal experience.
Well, we did have a pretty big development in that the Emperor found out that
he was secretly sending negotiations.
Had sent Taraj to essentially intimidate the Borderlands into believing that war was coming. Like, that's treason. The Emperor has been very clear that he's not in favor of war, and that is clearly the General trying to create and sow chaos that could lead to war.
Yep. And probably not could, but he would want to.
Right.
The express purpose of.
Right.
And if war happened between the Empire and the Borderlands would just get crushed. It wouldn't be close.
That's all I'm saying, is because once we get to the Alliance, I feel like one thing that's probably going to come up in negotiations is the fact that we have a warmongering general at the head of our army.
Yeah.
And
that's a good idea to bring that up to the Emperor before we go.
Right.
Yeah.
And just, we should all be clear in a unified front on what the Emperor is going to say about that and what his opinion about it is. Are we going back to the Empire and confronting Helgrim about this? How is the Emperor feeling about all this?
Not a bad idea to bring that up in a powwow.
Yeah.
An alliance planning session.
Yeah, that's actually, I think, a really good idea, Jay. Because last we knew, he was displeased with Yeah, but he
Perturbed
hadn't really...
but not aware of treason.
Well, and now he's aware of potential
treason.
treason, but we
Yes.
don't know what he's... Well, not even potential treason. He's aware of treason.
I
But
believe the only thing we had talked about was what was required for him to be removed from the council, and the emperor had said, well, I'm the, like, do we need a majority vote or unanimous? He's like, well, I'm the majority. So I think it is up to the emperor. I don't think the council really has a final say on that, but...
Well, and frankly, even if he does need it, if the emperor flatly declares, I want this, and you vote with him, the other ones aren't going to, like, stick their necks out for him. That's
Plus, I think we know how Nadali is going to vote.
Right.
And when Armsbuster hears the things that Helbram has been doing, she would vote against him too, because he committed treason, and she's like the judiciary that's all about law and stuff like that. Like, that's the biggest law you can break.
Right. Anyway, Thomas, you're oddly quiet through all of this. I'm worried.
I'm just listening to you guys plan.
Well, what is the emperor's feeling right now about this?
I would
Oh,
say
you guys-
technically piracy.
Yes, we would go and talk to the emperor about this before we went to the alliance.
Piracy's bigger than treason?
Yep.
Really?
Yep.
Boots is just declaring this.
No, it's one of the very few international common laws. Yeah, universally understood illegal acts as piracy. Because treason is very
treason depends on who wins the revolution.
Exactly.
It's too late. Canonically, in my mind,
Everybody
Boots
dislikes
has a strong hate for piracy now.
Yes. Down with pirates.
Except when it involves stealing rare plants.
That's not piracy, because that happened on land. That's just theft.
Exactly.
If you steal on water, it's a whole different thing.
Technically. Speaking of, she wants more plants, Thomas.
I gave you a big list of
She wants
plants.
more plants.
Those are the plants
She wants more plants. She wants more plants.
Okay, let's break Boots out of jail.
Thomas did send me like a whole list of plants, and I was like, more.
Helbram would, or not Helbram, the Emperor would think about all this and say, I think that at the very least Helbram needs to be rehabilitated. Perhaps we remove him from power for a short time and then reevaluate. I think he'd be open to the idea that maybe he doesn't know everything. Perhaps we could send Helbram on a trek through the borderlands in the Empire like we did, or on a mission to Esseray. Perhaps if he had a little more experience, he'd be a wiser, more open-minded individual. But you all know far more than I do about these things, and I would defer to your judgments if you had any strong opinions in the direction that we should go in with this.
Well, my biggest fear if you send him abroad, especially to allies, is that he has the potential to sour relations with them.
Well, he would not be going as a representative of the Empire. He would be temporarily removed from that status.
Even if he's been removed from that status, by who he is and what he would say, he would be representing the Empire.
I do wonder if he'd perhaps have some type of mental break. Helbram his position is everything to him, and it sounds like you all are convinced that he might potentially be dangerous, which worries me.
He's also just really old and he could retire.
He committed treason against you. Like, of course he's dangerous.
I meant
the tropical islands.
I meant less dangerous and impulsive, and more dangerous as in, well, dangerous.
Maybe he could get a hobby.
Well, I think it's
Take up
clear
reading.
that he is physically...
Take up reading.
he
just
very
ends up
dangerous.
sorry. He just ends up reading like some like fringe independent news site. He's just sitting in his basement reading like Alex Jones.
Watching One American News.
Here's the thing, though, is it wouldn't be Alex Jones. It would actually be Jarsali in another basement, like typing up these things just for him to read in his own basement.
Jarsali is the actual
gaslighting
Q.
renewed.
Could you imagine?
Drarsali's cue.
You guys would all notice Decorin feeling a little uncomfortable, like he's considering whether or not to bring up something that he's been mulling over.
I would say along that same plane, all of you noticed when the Emperor suggests that maybe he could go abroad and broaden his horizons and open up his mind, the massive eye roll and complete lack of "yeah, fucking right" look on her face when he suggests that.
No,
Like Helgrim is ever gonna be able to be open to that kind of personal growth.
Kryn's in the same boat as you with that, and he'll actually ask the Emperor, "What makes you think that A, he can be rehabilitated, and B, he would want to be rehabilitated? This, as far as I know, has been his identity his entire life."
I don't know what else he would do. He doesn't have anything else.
May I be
Well,
blunt, Your Highness?
After all this time, I think that we've established a certain level of rapport here.
Familiarity.
You need not censor yourself around me at all. I promise that I know
don't
that
think-
nothing comes from a place of malice from any of you.
You have greater responsibilities than what Helgrim will do with himself after he is done with the current place in his life that he is now. Secondly, I have seen your heart. You're a good man. You want to do well by your people. You want to be a great king. And in my opinion, the number one obstacle to you achieving your goals in that space right now is Helgrim.
What do you suggest I do, Prince Drarsali?
needs to
If
be
you were in my place and you had the power to do anything, you don't need to use fancy words. What would you do?
I would, well, in before
If he was a man in your nation right now and he was sitting in the palace at a desk, what would you have done?
before we knew of the treason in the borderlands, I would have simply removed him from his position as a result of his developing weapons without the knowledge of the sovereign. Once I became aware of direct treason, I would not only remove him from his position, but I would banish him from the realms on threat of execution should he ever return.
Banishment, then. Perhaps that would be good for him. If anything would change his view on the rest of the world, I suppose it would be experiencing it. Perhaps, excuse me. Perhaps a banishment of a year, and then we can have him appeal his case.
For whatever it's worth, I'm aware of a number of local leaders in some of the Elven kingdoms that would arrest him and execute him where he stood for such an offense as the stunt that he pulled in the Borderlands.
Is that what you think I should do? Have him executed?
No. I think in recognition of a life spent in service to the Emperor, his execution would be stayed and he would be given permanent banishment instead.
Alternatively, you could remove him from his post, see how he reacts to it, and let him decide his own fate.
There are some kind, soft-hearted sovereigns who would also pursue a course similar to that.
Keep in mind when I say that, I assume that his reaction would lead to either banishment or execution, because I would expect him to do things that would be very damaging to the Empire.
Well,
potentially go even so far as attempting to usurp the throne, because in his eyes, you would be a weak ruler at that point.
I have maintained since we left, and I still think this to be true now, that I think this conversation is going to be totally irrelevant, because when we return to the city, I think he will make an attempt for the throne in your absence.
He kind of starts looking nervous about that. Usually when you say that, he's like, yeah, okay. But now he looks like he's kind of considering that. He goes, perhaps it would be best to postpone our meeting with the Alliance then and return home. Maybe check in, make sure things are okay.
If he's already done that, we need the Alliance in the event that we have to take back the Empire for you.
The alternative is showing up at home outside of schedule may completely throw a wrench in his plans as well.
Tokarin, you have contact with the Empire, yes? Have you heard any stirrings about the going on there?
When was the last time I casted sending to? I believe I casted sending to Armbruster not too long ago, right?
You did. She said everything was okay. You talked to Corin probably right before you left the Borderlands, about 10 days ago. Excuse me. I think those are the only people there that you had talked to in that time.
Which Armsbuster? Daughter Armsbuster or Boss Armsbuster?
The boss, yeah, because she was running things. I would send another message to her now and just say, hey, another weekly check-in. How are things going?
I would suggest, Tokarin, if he did make a play, she would be the one that he made a play on, and potentially she could be not in position to answer truthfully. I would wonder if we ask somebody who would know that isn't directly in that position.
Ask her daughter.
Or Nadali.
Nadali? One of the random soldiers that we know from the castle.
They might be in his pocket, though. I think the best bet is Armbruster's daughter.
I mean, all of the above.
Sure, I'll send one to the Archmage and one to the daughter.
Okay, you would not get a response from the daughter. You would hear from Nadali that she has been investigating some strange goings on with the Order of Azure. They've found some strange new creatures and things like that in the shadow, the natural gate to the shadow plane that you guys had found, and she's been spending a lot of time there and trying to help out with that. But she hasn't heard anything bad that's going on there. From what she's heard, Helbram's been mostly keeping to himself.
No response at all from the daughter?
No, nothing from Sage, no.
So we got a no reply, a non-answer, and suspicious activity.
And then who else did you want to message?
Why wouldn't I get a response from Sage?
Didn't you say there was a third person you wanted to message? I missed it.
The dude you ran. How about the dude you ran against for coin?
Well, sure.
Who's like, now you're a constant load of coin.
Yeah,
Chester.
I mean,
yeah.
I had just messaged him about trade.
Oh,
I imagine
that's right.
if something crazy was happening, he'd have been like, "Forget the trade."
Everything's good. Oh, I forgot to tell you the throne was seized. But well, sorry,
Right.
I should have brought that up first.
Right.
Yeah, he didn't seem to think that there was anything crazy going on, or he probably would let you know.
No reply at all from Sage, huh?
Nope.
Can anyone hear Scry?
I cannot.
I could try to get said scroll, and we could scry probably.
I might
I'd
be.
be-
Give me a second. I can scry, but I would
Oh,
need
look
to do
at Boots. Boots has all
tomorrow.
kinds of mysterious powers.
it.
She's
She
like,
would-
did
she
you know I
would
could turn into a sparrow too?
She's like,
Wow,
I could be a bird. Look at
Yeah.
this.
You got some wild
Scrying-
spells for a ranger.
Scrying also has a pretty expensive material component, by the way, as I recall.
Does it?
Mm-hmm.
It does, but it's not-
Something.
It's not
What?
consumed.
What is
It's
it?
not, but yeah.
It's a
What is it?
focus worth at least 1,000 gold pieces, such as a crystal ball, a silver mirror, or a font filled with holy water.
Thomas, the crystal ball that I have that nobody has seen me use, would that count?
Yeah, sure.
I would pull out a crystal ball that nobody has ever seen me use before and say, you can use this.
Well, maybe tomorrow then.
Boots says, yeah, I'll need to do it tomorrow because I didn't know, and I don't usually have it prepared.
Glorious, I'll put it back in my bag.
Don't we have the thing where someone can long rest, like, instantly?
Do we need to really do it instantly, though?
I don't think so. I think
Yeah.
if
okay.
she's not responding, it's either because I think it's more likely because she doesn't want to respond. But if it's something that's because it's happened to her, scrying either isn't going to help us because she won't be able to be scryed on, or it'll have been too late for us to do anything now. Like the odds of it turning the tables from scrying right now are pretty low.
Fair.
I've actually been ruminating on a fairly disturbing theory for a while now. I didn't really want to say anything because I don't have any proof, but Your Highness, would you mind if I asked you a personal question that may be a little bit sensitive in nature?
He kind of gives you like a sideways smirk and says, "Please, my lord, I'd prefer we keep it professional."
Have you found yourself unable to perform?
When your parents passed away, were you familiar with where they were?
Yes, if they were in their bedroom in Castle Cade.
Do you know if there were any witnesses?
No, they were found crushed under the rubble.
Well, I don't have any proof.
Kryn's looking significantly at Jarsali right now.
But the interesting thing is that Helbram did give us the possible way of being able to obtain such proof if my theory was true. Because when I read that it was caused by an earthquake, and the more I learned about General Helbram and his gravitational abilities, I have no proof, but I know your father was a peace-loving man, and I know that Helbram wants nothing more than war with the Alliance, and I almost wonder how far that endeavor might take him if he was being consistently held back by a peace-loving king.
Much easier to manipulate a young, inexperienced monarch than an established, peace-loving king.
And again, this is a frightening allegation that I have no proof of, but with the power that I've seen from Jarsali now twice,
maybe we can find the truth.
It's possible that we could find the proof that I would need to prove my theory. Or disprove it.
And you don't have an heir, so if you don't play ball, and he rigs some assassination on you to make it look like it was from the Alliance, him seizing power would be very easy.
Especially with control of the military.
I would say if we were going to delay our trip to the Alliance, perhaps we could make a trip back to the castle and potentially use Jarsali's new powers to investigate this.
He looks like he stopped listening after like the first part of what you said, and then he's just like, "You think Helbram killed my father and mother?"
We think it's possible,
and I think it's worth looking into. But I would say that we should not jump to any conclusions until we have definitive evidence, which I believe Lady Jarsali has the ability to give us one way or the other.
I am still exploring the limits of this power, but to the best of my knowledge, I believe I could find that out.
Well, I was going to be prepared to teleport us to the Alliance today, but perhaps I could teleport us back to Castle Cade, and we could have this looked into in the next 10 minutes.
If we do this, we should do it in the middle of the night, so that we can hopefully slip in, do this, and not have anyone know that we've done it. Because if Helbram knows, he will be forced into action.
Frankly, I
This is
think
true.
the less the people in the capital city know of our comings and goings and when we'll be there and when we won't, the better. Makes it much harder to plan for any nefarious deeds.
Your Highness, do you have anything that is specifically from your bedroom? I assume that you're now taking up the chambers that your parents were in.
No, that room is empty currently. I couldn't bring myself to move in. I have my own room elsewhere. It's been empty. It was repaired, of course, but nothing else has changed.
The
How
crown, I
close
assume,
is-
has been in that room plenty.
Sure.
It was on his father's head, yes?
Sorry, what did you say?
I said the crown was probably in his
Crown.
parents' room
Oh,
plenty.
yes, certainly. It was my father's before mine and my grandfather's before him.
Well, if I'm correct, then Jarsali can actually maybe use the crown to just teleport directly into his bedroom.
I can.
Or
Absolutely.
into that bedroom?
I can take us straight there right now.
What time is it, Thomas?
More importantly, what time is it in the capital city of the Empire?
Yeah.
So the time differentials are kind of weird. Let me see if I can show them to you guys because I do have this.
Why am I not surprised? I would never have had time zones worked out. If you guys would have asked me that in the game, I would have been like, I have no.
Let's make
idea.
up something.
Yeah, exactly right.
I
Of course,
I
it's
have,
been 9.5 hours.
I have a completely unrelated question, but mainly because this is listed in time and not distance. How far is 500 miles from the capital go?
You guys haven't been directly outside that much, but pretty far.
Like, would
Not out of the Empire, but
but 500 would go anywhere in the Empire.
yeah, the Empire's pretty big.
Okay.
Maybe not anywhere, but pretty close enough for. I'm assuming. I don't know what you're planning, but so the way that the time zones work is it starts in the top left of the grid, and then it kind of goes this way, like clockwise, and it's 4 hours per grid zone.
Basically, I think we would want to time it if we were going to do it to teleport into his parents' room in the middle of the night.
So the Empire would be 4, 8, 12 hours ahead.
All right, so we would want to do it in the middle of the day here, so it's in the middle of the night there.
Yeah, I have a lot of random bullshit created for Khuros that you guys will never ever find. I wasn't expecting time zones to come up, but hey.
Hey, Coach,
there it
hey!
is.
Yeah! Making sure the DM isn't over-prepped. I got
Well,
time
I mean,
zones, look at this!
I didn't mean to usher us immediately back to the Empire, but
I was gonna say it's really great that we had him plan for the Alliance so that we could just not.
we're still planning to go to
Go.
the Alliance, but
We say.
I didn't mean our little powwow about the general to go this deep, but it just kind of went there.
You know what?
Yeah.
Better we know that we don't than we don't.
Yeah, it'd be a good thing to go to the Alliance and be like, oh yeah, don't worry about him. We just executed him yesterday. Or whatever,
Right?
whatever.
We teleport there with his head.
Here, we're ready for peace.
Now, I will say, though, I won't be able to bring his back.
You're like moving his mouth like a puppet. You're like, I'm here for peace.
I come in peace.
Well, you don't have to be able to take
God.
us back.
Oh,
back
he can
because
take us back, yeah.
Jay can teleportation.
Good.
I
circle
can go
us.
teleportation circle anywhere,
Well,
so yeah.
and so could Boots, I think, could teleport with. Although there's probably not plants in the parents' bedroom, so that probably wouldn't work.
No, but she's got plenty of plants that she can teleport to in
Nicole's,
the high
you guys
elevation.
gotta
She
get back there.
make
Nicole's gonna
plants?
plant a tree in there.
I know, right?
Say, can't you just make plants and then teleport from those?
And then
Shit,
the next time Jay reaches out to Chester, he's like, yes, weird news. Somebody broke into the old king's bedroom and planted a tree. Everybody's very confused.
Boots is gonna give the emperor a bonsai plant as a gift and say this has to stay in your bedroom. It'll give you good luck, so we can just show up in his bedroom at any time.
all the time.
How do you guys keep getting in here?
It has to be a large or larger inanimate.
Ah,
plant, so
boo.
It has to be a tree
It
big
would
enough for
be-
Rogardus to walk through it.
it would be a full tree.
Yeah.
Okay.
You need to keep this in your room at all times.
I would apologize to the Emperor for bringing
It's a
up
Japanese
something so
maple.
heavy out of nowhere, but
Well, it wasn't exactly out of nowhere.
He looks very distressed.
I can honestly say, Your Highness, I hope that I am wrong with my theory, but
But we can find
You-
out for sure,
you
I think.
deserve-
I don't know what to do if you're right.
you deserve to hear it. Well,
I
to be honest, I think if I'm right, things become
You'll-
more clear about what you should do than what they are
agree
now.
completely.
I think there's only one course of action if this man killed your parents, but if not, then I'm honestly not sure exactly how serious his crimes are compared to what might be. I do get the
Wait.
feeling that he's not a good man, though. He's not somebody that I believe has the best interest of peace. And so if that's the type of empire you're wanting to run, I don't think he can help you do that. I don't think he's interested in helping you do that.
He just sits there quietly.
Yeah. Well, I guess we would wait then until the planned time, and then we would do this thing.
I believe that's up to His Highness if he wants to explore this path further or not. Although, to be honest, Your Highness, if you already have a doubt in your head, I think you know the answer. If you completely trusted that this is beyond what Helgrim would do, you wouldn't even be thinking about it.
He just kind of nods. We have to know.
Well, when is the middle of the day, Thomas?
So it would be night now, so it would be getting close to night. So it's if you guys, excuse me, if you guys wanted to just get together and go now, it'd probably be like 3 or 4 a.m. If you wanted to wait till like night, you'd have to wait another day in the in SRA.
3 or 4 a.m. That's perfect.
Yeah, I think 3 a.m. would be good.
Yep, perfect.
Well, there's no time like the present, Your Highness. I think we could do it right now. Can I borrow your crown?
Yes. He takes it off. He looks a little out of it.
Yeah.
What were you saying, Boots? Did you say something, Nicole?
So, here, Thomas, because I have an associated object, I believe we have to roll it.
I didn't say anything.
I thought if you had an object from it, then you didn't have to roll it.
No, there is a roll, but an associated object makes it less likely. This is very poorly worded in the thingy here, though.
Okay, now I gotta look up teleportation because I was
the description there is terrible.
I was pretty sure on the chart it said if you have an item from the location, then it's always on target.
Well, the description in there is terrible, so I'm gonna look it up.
Associated object is if you roll 0 to 100, draw on target.
0 to so it is 100% basically.
Right.
Yep. So there you go. Just that wording is terrible.
It is.
So an associated object, which I assume the crown.
We're gonna just bamf into his parents' room.
His parents' bedroom.
His parents' bedroom, and you know, I'm hoping that Boots has the enhance ability ready to go, and we can just have Drasali use her ability, and this could all be wrapped up in like 2 seconds.
Well, lucky for you, she does not.
Damn it. Well, I guess this will be fun then.
It is what it is. Just be ready. Rogar's gonna have to be ready to hold me back.
All right.
If she'd known, she would have.
Well, none of us knew. This just happened. Poor Thomas.
No.
He's vigorously flipping through his notes to find out what happened to the parents.
No, I've got notes. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. This is not the first time I've discussed this with Thomas. So
okay, good. I'm glad.
Yes.
I'm glad it didn't come totally out of left field.
In fact, I told the one guy in the party that couldn't say anything, so.
True.
You can always tell Rogar a secret.
That's right.
He won't spill the beans.
Oops.
See me pull out a small book and start writing in it. It's my secret diary, so I never forget.
You start to show it to somebody, and I cast a firebolt. No!
Secrets! My secrets!
I take my sword, split the cord in two.
Nah! My secrets will die with me.
I think you could one-shot him if you crit him.
I think that is probably accurate.
Do I have my reaction?
Probably.
Ice block.
If I roll max damage on my weapon over and over, I could one-shot you.
That's true. Even through the ice block.
But the chances of that is very unlikely.
Okay.
All right. Well, whenever you're ready.
Okay, this is gonna be crazy if I end up being right about this.
Yeah, it is.
Go through Jarsali's teleport. You vamp into a dark room. Up on the walls, you see several pictures of a very beautiful human woman. She is holding a small infant child in the painting. Next to her, you see a long, dark-haired man who looks very much like Elwyn, only much older, with kind of a soft smile on his face. You see some flowers in the room, which look like they're probably changed regularly, and you see a kind of olive green bed with a canopy above it. Other than that, the room is pretty empty. It's got like some furniture that looks like it's never been touched or lived in, which it probably hasn't. Since the room was rebuilt since the earthquake, no one's really been staying in here.
Is it dusty?
No, it's taken care of. People just don't stay in here. Like the flowers are changed out, but people come in, dust it, clean it, but no one stays here.
I'll turn to the Emperor and say, "Are you ready, Your Highness?"
Oh, yes, of course.
If you don't mind standing next to me, please, and be ready to make sure I don't jump out a window or something.
I'm standing right next to Dressala.
I'll take the Emperor over to a chair and just have him like sit down and just kind of put my hand on his shoulder and say, "This will only take a minute."
And I'm ready to cast Hold Person on Dressali if she starts freaking out.
I'm ready.
Any last comments?
I rage.
I will take a deep breath, close my eyes, and activate the Truth Seeker boons at the most detailed level.
Okay. I'm going to make a con save.
Sure, as you do.
Guidance. Oh, not needed.
Wow. What a roll, huh?
I know. Give us all those juicy details.
Okay. Jarsali, you find yourself standing alone in the same bedroom, but more lived in. You see there's different furniture, different paintings, portraits, an open book on the nightstand. You see the same people in that portrait laying in bed under the covers. And the room begins to shake and vibrate. The canopy snaps and falls. They wake up, they're panicked. They are each on one side of the bed. The male gets up, standing, looking around, panicked, as does the woman. And after they get up, they start to run towards the door to leave the room, obviously, to escape the earthquake. And suddenly their bodies lock up, and they're stuck in place. You can see them kind of faintly shaking, but they can't move. You see their eyes kind of darting around, panicked. And the bedroom door opens, and you see a much younger looking Hellbrim, his white hair black. He steps in, and you can see he already has his Graviturgy halberd in hand. And he says, "It's a standard tale, isn't it? A group of people that don't know each other. At the right place at the right time. Strangers can become more than the closest of friends with the one objective. To achieve a bigger goal, bigger than themselves. That was your father and I." And he's just kind of walking around at this point, and they can't move. And he says, "We were going to set a blanket of glory across the world. To cover it in our mark. We were closer than anyone could be. We would have killed gods for one another, for our goal. But you came with your soft heart and your ideas of love and what it's worth, and ruined it. I learned that my loyalty was a shackle, that the throne is not special, not sacred, if those who sit on it are weak. I will make the world a better place, even if I must destroy this one first. You may think I'm a villain, but I'm not. I'm a broken hero. Strength must be earned through blood, not love. Watch, can your love save you now? Can it save her?" And he walks over and he grabs the woman by the throat, and on his hands appear these Vorpal dick gauntlets. And he squeezes, and she kind of can't move. She's just kind of like, and he squeezes so hard that his hand crushes her throat and just splatters it, and her body slumps to the ground. patriotism, loyalty, all of it. It just stands in the way of glory. I'll make sure that your boy learns that lesson, like your father should have taught you. And then he drives the halberd through the Emperor's chest, tears it out, and exits the room. And he says again, I'm not the villain. I'm a broken hero. And then he closes his fist around the halberd, and the room collapses on top of them. And Jarsala, you find yourself back, standing around, everybody looking at you.
With tears kind of running down her cheeks, I'm gonna walk up to the Emperor, kind of see him the same age as my own children, and she'll kind of throw protocol to the wind a bit and take his hands in hers, and she's just gonna kind of look at him and, like, kind of knowing that she's gonna break this kid's heart, kind of paces herself and takes a deep breath, and she says, she kind of closes her eyes because she doesn't want to look at him in the eyes when she tells him, and is kind of reimagining it in her head, and she says, the room began to shake. Your parents got out of bed. They were scared. They ran for the door, and a young, angry Helgrim blocked them. He ranted. He grabbed your mother by the throat. He crushed her neck, and he impaled your father. He called him weak and said that he was going to teach his son the ways of your grandfather. And then he allowed the room to collapse behind them. I'm so sorry, my lord.
You see tears just start to fall down his face, and he just kind of collapses a little bit and just kind of doesn't say anything, but he's just kind of like sobbing as quietly as he can because he doesn't want to be discovered. But you can see his body like kind of, when you sob, it kind of heaves, and he's just kind of doing that on the ground, kind of like dry heaving, trying not to vomit, bawling.
He's gonna give her like a motherly hug, like hold him as a mother would hug her child.
I'm gonna go to the door. Do I hear anybody outside, or
Make a perception check.
Yeah, I've been watching. I'm also watching, like, under the door, the light, to see if I see any movement outside.
All is quiet.
After, I want to give him a couple of minutes, and then I want to say, Your Highness, the time to act is right now. Do not allow him to gather his strength. Do not allow him to prepare.
I would like to quick save at this point, since we're about to go fight Hellbroom. In case we die, we can just load right here.
He doesn't respond, Jarsali. He just keeps crying.
I'll just put his head on my lap and kind of stroke his hair, kind of trying to, her maternal instincts have kicked in. He's literally the same age as her child, so.
Well, there's a couple ways we can play this. We can.
I'm gonna cast. I'm gonna cast Liamon's tiny hut because I think we're gonna need some time to stay here and think about this.
Okay. We can go to the other council members with this information.
Why would they believe us?
Well,
It's
I'm
a
sure
very
they-
large claim.
I'm sure they could have someone cast Zone of Truth. I mean, granted, they might think Jarsali is a crazy person.
Actually, if they know anything about the process, they know I can no longer be affected by that spell.
Hmm.
By what spell?
Zone of Truth.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna double check. I'm 99% sure that's accurate.
I don't think that's accurate.
I'm gonna double check
Ins-
it. I'm gonna double
Instead of
check
calm
it.
emotions, I could just use daunting roar to frighten him. He won't be sad anymore.
Wrong one. Wrong one. There it is. Nope. Wrong one again.
Can
Oh,
you be
moved
affected
it
by?
to magic items? That's why.
Can you be affected by detect thoughts?
Blah 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 blah. Oh, yes, not true. You cannot be magically compelled to tell the truth.
But someone could cast detect thoughts on you, and you could willfully fail the saving throw.
Sure.
I'm sure Nadali would probably be able to cast detect thoughts.
Or even a more powerful version of it to see what I saw. If such a spell exists, I'm sure it does.
Would we know if Helbram's halberd has the power to hold people in place like that?
Much like Jay's timepiece, the powers of each item are really only known by the people who have them.
Okay.
You know
And,
what spell? You know what spell you need, Brian, that you don't have?
What's that?
Encode thoughts.
Rogue, you would also know that the power of the Vorpal artifacts change from person to person and based on who they are, right? Like Goldbad did stuff with the watch that Takorn can't do, and Takorn can do stuff that Goldbad can't do.
No. Okay.
But the crown probably does the same thing for everybody.
Crown's special.
Yeah.
Actually,
We're not using the crown. That's cheating.
Aaron,
Mhm. Yes.
Yep.
Ah, there you go. You can 100% use encode thoughts to pull a memory strand from you so that other people can view it.
I'm
Not
going
only
to.
that, but you can. Yeah, you can do that.
Here, Emperor, watch this.
No, but, no, but
Yeah,
you
really?
could have me watch it, and then I could project image.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I could do. Yeah, I could. Do
All right, watch
programmed
closely.
image.
He's about to kill your mom.
Yeah. Oh, this part's real gruesome.
I'm going to.
You know, I've had that monologue written for a while. I wasn't expecting to use it so soon, but
But you knew you might need it at some time because I talked to you about this.
that's why I wrote the monologue.
I
was like, oh fuck, he's gonna do it.
By the way, it was a good
I have to
monologue.
it was great. I have to ask though, honestly, did you decide that Helbram did this before or after I asked you about it?
No, before the campaign started.
Okay.
nice. This was one of the founding ideas of the campaign, wasn't it?
Well, so I did a little bit on just like all the major parts of the world, and I knew we were starting in this part of the world. So in the Google Doc I gave you guys before you made characters, I had a thing that said that the king died in a mysterious earthquake, and I took out the mysterious part, and it just said earthquake, but nobody noticed.
Yeah, I mean, until I had really had enough puzzle pieces to piece this together, and
Well done,
realized that Jersali was the last piece to be able to get the evidence. It wasn't worth mentioning.
Well, then, I don't think he really expected us to convince to give us the ability to one of us. I think he expected us to convince to give the ability to someone else, right?
How great is it that the whole idea to give you these truth seeker abilities was Helbram's idea, and that is what's doing him in right now.
Well,
it's amazing.
This, while we're talking about it, it does since you guys have kind of uncovered a little bit, and none of this would have happened if Nicole would not have had Boots come along to the process. By the way.
Oh yeah.
Because Jersali would have died.
Because Jersali would have died if Boots were not there.
It's really a new character. It's really a team effort.
Yeah, everybody played their part.
Nicole's like, finally, some credit.
I know,
right? Seriously.
I'm gonna have
waiting so long.
She really has. She's been texting me like every session. Like, Brian still hasn't given me credit, by the way, for that. She's like, everyone needs to know that Boots did a lot.
Well, Well, I want it to come out organically, and we can still have it come out organically, like in the place. But it also seemed relevant to the conversation we're having.
There,
But,
it's the point is there's so many pieces that had to come together to get here,
Yes.
and it's amazing that they all did.
Jarsali is gonna kind of speak, and while it's to everybody, it's really she's saying it for the benefit of the Emperor, which is she's gonna say, well, we can return to SRA. I don't think we should do anything without the Emperor commanding us to do so. This is really his decision. This is his choice. This is his story to tell. We are only here to support him in all of his efforts, and this is a lot to take in. I do think we should act right now, but if he's not ready to do that, we should leave.
He's still just crying.
We don't know
Thomas?
who,
Yep.
which. Go ahead.
Oh, no, you go ahead.
We don't know which guards are loyal to Helbrim and which are loyal to the Emperor. We don't know who our allies are really at all, other than I think it's safe to say Nadali, and I don't think Armsbreaster would be okay with this, but beyond that, we don't really know.
What were you saying, Nicole?
I think she typed it in.
Yeah. A greater restoration, would that work? Because I have that prepared.
Probably more like calm emotions would
You
be. Would
imbue
be
a
more.
creature you touch with positive energy?
Would a Boots know
To
who's
undo a
loyal
debilitating
to?
effect?
It's not really an effect. It's just feelings.
Damn feelings.
His feelings are affecting him, Thomas.
Do you have
His
calm emotions?
feelings are debilitating him right now.
I'm doing what I can.
I know, buddy.
We're gonna. I think we're. Yeah, we should. It'd be nice to act right now, but I don't think it's imperative. I don't think it's as imperative as you guys are. Like, we need to regroup now that we have this information and make a plan, and we need to do it in a way that's not suspicious. So I believe we should teleport back to SRA and make a plan.
Perhaps we can even get the support of the elves, huh?
Possibly. I don't know if they'd want to become so intimately involved in the internal affairs of the Empire in this way. But we shall see.
Or we could ask the Alliance.
There are many possibilities, but I think first maybe Tokaran, maybe you should just take us back to SRA before we're discovered.
Yeah, and I will spend 1 minute and I will teleport us back to SRA.
You guys return to SRA.
So just like onto the Alliance, just stick to the plan.
The Emperor faints.
Yeah.
I
Pick him up and you'll pick him up.
Yeah.
We'll take him to a bedroom.
Has 3 failed wisdom saves, all under 5, so he's done for the day.
Yeah.
I will stay with him all night. I will meditate in his room as my long rest, and I'm just gonna stay by his side until he comes to.
And I will stay outside the door.
And on that note, I have to use the bathroom, so let's take a 5-10 minute break.
Sounds
Huzzah.
good.
Okay.
What did I miss?
Us talking about the
We're
next
planning.
plan of action. Yeah.
Is everybody back?
I know Marcus is. I don't think Nicole and Aaron.
I'm back.
Oh, Nicole is.
Woohoo! Nicole's back, party.
We can talk more about how amazing Boots was for saving Jarsali. Everyone's cool with that.
I'm cool with it.
Totally cool with it. It was great. The whole thing was great. And
Was she
Thomas-
there?
Is
What?
who there?
What? Was Boots there?
When Jarsali died? Yeah, she
Yeah,
was there.
Damn.
Oh, that's right.
Harsh.
I'm just messing with
Harsh.
Nicole.
Harsh.
I'm in danger.
Yes, you are.
I'm
All
in
right.
danger.
I have an unrelated mechanics question for you, Thomas. I forgot I was going to ask you this earlier, but
Better be related. What is it?
it's not directly, but it is D&D related. in order for me to create the levitator in Takoran Keep, it required me to cast levitate. It required me to have 10 teleportation scrolls. If I could cast levitate 10 times, could I do it without creating the scrolls?
Could you hang on? I'm sorry. One more time. Brian was messaging me, so I got distracted.
Sure.
I waited for you to ask him a question, and then I DM'd him. Just
That's really good. I like it. In order for me to create the levitator in the Wayward Tower, you required me to have 10 levitation spell scrolls.
Mm-hmm.
If I could cast levitate 10 times at the same time, could I do the same effect?
I don't see why not, but I don't.
Okay.
I'm scared of what you're getting at.
Well, it's just I have 3 second-level spells, 3 third-level spells, 3 fourth-level spells, and then I could spend 1 fifth-level spell to do levitate 10 times and create a levitator in any building.
Yeah, you would need a little more than that. You just need like to make space for it. It's like it has to have like runes to keep it like sustained.
Mm-hmm.
The way I imagine it is like you can create the electricity, but you need like the circuit to create the loop.
Okay.
So yeah, you can do that. It would just take a little bit of time. You couldn't do it like on the fly.
Right. But it'd be like, if you give me these supplies,
yeah,
then
absolutely.
I can do this for you.
Yep.
That might be something that I.
Takoran invents the elevator and becomes a billionaire.
It's not called the elevator. It's called the levitator.
And hey, he wouldn't be a billionaire. He's already a billionaire. He'd be a trillionaire.
I think it would be the Takorinator.
Takoran Bezos.
Well, I mean, we could call it Takoran's levitator. I'd be okay with that.
Any good inventor names it after themselves.
The Takoran. That's why we have the Steve Jobs phone. Is Aaron back?
I hope so.
Waiting on Aaron?
No, I'm still waiting.
All right, we'll give him a few more minutes here.
Who?
Oh, I'm never gonna get to show you guys my custom spell.
Artie, I think.
It's my fault.
Artie.
I should make more boot-centered spells, but all of them have to be like boots is made for whatever.
Does Takoran happen to have like 700 gold?
Oh, of course.
How dare you insult him by even asking?
Come on. Obviously.
How dare you, sir?
That he would be
How dare
willing
you?
to loan out.
Yeah, of course. It's done. I've already taken 700 gold off of my character sheet.
With 20% interest.
All right.
I was about to say 5.2 interest.
20%. He's got to make money.
Ruger's gonna go to the blacksmith and buy something.
Okay.
Oh my god, what did he buy for 700 gold?
Wasn't 700, it was 1,000.
Oh. Well, now I'm even more worried. But Kryn is back.
He bought blacksmithing tongs.
The best tongs in the world.
I bought the blacksmith.
You are mine now. Let's go. I need a hit. You are now our distraction. You just like push him in front of every hallway to check for traps.
Vorpal blacksmithing tongs.
Oh, there you go. Right, somebody write that down.
Can I just say for the record, that was some amazing monologue.
Yeah, that was
Wow.
absolutely amazeballs. I legitimately had goosebumps, Thomas. Really well done.
Good. I'm glad you guys liked it. And now the next day, you guys wake up before the Emperor. He's in his room being pouty.
All right, so if everybody comes in there, Jarsali over through the night would have come up with her suggestion for what we do.
Yeah, I'm assuming you guys would all wake up before him, and your husband can like tell something weird's going on, so he's like, "I've got to run some errands. Come on, Jake." And they.
Oh no, I wouldn't have left the Emperor's room until he.
Oh, that's right.
So
Right.
this
Well,
would have all
Yeah,
been
we're
in there.
still in the manor. Yeah.
Yeah, they could tell like something weird's going on, and they would have given you guys a little bit of space, so you guys have like the dinner table to yourselves if you wanted to chat.
When the Emperor regains his wits, my suggestion is that he order Nadali and Armsbuster, is that her name?
Mm-hmm.
Armsbuster, to go to the teleportation circle at Nadali's Keep immediately and wait there for us. Takoran can take the 6 of us there. Once we arrive, I can teleport the 8 of us into Helgrim's office, whereupon we immediately march to his bedroom, and we either arrest him or kill him if he resists. We would do this in the middle of the night, of course. The only question in my mind is whether or not we attempt to scry beforehand to confirm that he's there. On the one hand, we could confirm his presence. On the other, it is possible, maybe even likely, that he has some kind of warding to warn him if he's being scried upon.
Another thing a paranoid him or guy like him might have is a body double.
Also,
You guys were bodyguards for him for a long time. You probably would have noticed a body double.
that's true. Also,
You guys were bodyguards for him for like 100 days. So you guys are very familiar with the layout of his keep as well.
And he sleeps in his armor.
Oh, actually, we are intimately familiar with his bedroom because we're his bodyguards, right? I only said the office because I didn't think we were actually, but we are intimately familiar with his
Absolutely.
bedroom.
You guys know the
yes.
entire keep top to bottom.
And everything I just said, but switch out office for directly into his bedroom.
Sure. Do you guys want to see the map?
Sure. All of this, of course, would be contingent on the Emperor ordering it.
Of course.
I'll give him a good few smacks to wake him up, make sure he's ready for it.
This is the map of Pelgrim Keep. I didn't fog of war any of it because you guys would obviously be very familiar with it.
Rogar punches the Emperor and implodes his face.
This is Helbrim's bedroom right here. It is in the tower.
I assume there's a second floor. This is like the first floor.
This is the first floor is all the living areas. The
Right.
second floor is like just battlements.
But there is a second floor. Like he could run
Yeah.
up there in theory. Okay, yeah.
Wait, I missed it. Where was his bedroom?
Top left corner.
Up
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Actually, his office and his bedroom are adjacent. So
it's not very big.
it's not really a luxurious guy.
By the way, I like the group bathrooms down there on the lower left, just in case.
I mean, it is about 30 feet long for the bedroom. It's not too bad size.
I'm just saying, like, in terms of getting us all in there to arrest him.
Ah, true.
I think the main thing is we want to do it with no warning, and we don't know who potentially could be loyal to him. He has obviously been planning something for a long time. So I think the faster, the quicker, the surer the strike, the more likely it will be to be successful.
Rogar would hand Ursali a note that would say he will probably attack either way since he's knowing his character.
Which means
Possibly.
which
He won't
means
go
we
quietly.
should not take the Emperor.
The only reason I would consider taking the Emperor in my original plan was if there were any guards along the way, it would be impossible for any guard who wasn't a complete traitor to say no to an order from the Emperor and the entirety of the council in front of them.
Well, unless anyone has a better idea, my pitch is to obtain the strongest set of shackles that we can obtain, give them to Rogar. We teleport into his bedroom. I would attempt to cast Hold Person on him immediately when we get there. And we would attempt to have Rogar shackle him as we tell him that he's being arrested by order of the Emperor.
We would need more than ordinary shackles, I believe.
Agreed.
Since Boots was like the captain of the watch at Tokoran Keep and decided it'd like to quote unquote help all the other guards, would she know who's loyal to help him or not? Quote unquote terrify
I
the guards.
mean, I would assume that all of them would be.
I think Helbrim's the type of guy who would keep the people closest to him to be those who are loyal to him over anything else.
Yeah, I would probably agree with that, though, Thomas, if you say differently, by all means.
What? Sorry, one more time.
Would Boots know more than anyone else, since she was the one who spent a lot of times with the guard?
Yeah.
Quote
Sure.
unquote
That makes sense to me.
helping them.
Do I have to roll something, or do I just know?
Yeah, no, you would know.
Oh, okay. What do I know?
I must have missed the question. I'm so sorry. You said that you would know more. I don't. What else?
Know more about which guards would follow Helbram to his death, and
that's a good question. Most of them would. Excuse me, please.
COVID.
Yeah, I don't have COVID. It could go either way. Most of the guards are very, very loyal to Helbram. Which guards are loyal to the Emperor above Helbram? It would be a whole thing. It would be could go either way. It'd be a situation where there'd be checks made.
Okay.
So that's basically what Boots would say to us: is they could go either way. Hard to know.
They'll have to make checks.
Boots is like, they'll have to get through me.
Yes, which ones are extremely loyal to me because I have harassed them within an inch of their life?
They are itching for an opportunity to murder Boots in cold blood.
I think that Jarsali is right, though. We have to bring the Emperor along because he gives us the authority. I think we should definitely keep him in the back and protect him.
in his full set of Vorpal armor.
Oh yeah, he gets all the toys, obviously.
As far as you guys know, he's always wearing it. It's just invisible or transparent on him all the time.
No, we mean the Emperor.
Oh yeah. Oh, do you guys want the Emperor to go with you? Is he gonna come in?
That's what we were debating.
I see.
Because his presence provides the authority. Like if the Emperor says we're arresting General Helbram, stand down, and the guards don't, they're fucking traitors.
Like basically, we would make any guards that would come to his aid. They would have to choose Helgrim over Helgrim on one side, and on the other side, the Emperor and all of the council members.
You know, on the flip side, I could make myself look exactly like the Emperor. Sound like him too.
This is true, but that would, I would say Helgrim knows your abilities, and that would look odd. Our group with the Changeling missing and the Emperor there, it would add an element of deceit to our enterprise when it's not necessarily needed.
It might also create that final link between his suspicions of the last time that happened.
It could. And I can't speak for the Emperor, but if it were me who had been through that, I would want to be there.
I suppose we could ask him.
I think ultimately it's going to be whatever he decides. This is just, if it were me, what I would recommend he do.
We all turn to look to the Emperor.
Are you guys waiting? I guess you would have waited for him to wake up to have this conversation.
I think we would have it amongst ourselves while he was.
Yeah, I said specifically that he slept in more, so you guys could.
Yeah, so we would just be waiting for him. We would have this conversation in his room and then wait for him to wake up, basically.
I would leave after the conversation, go get my stuff, and come back. The thing about that is.
The Emperor, with no bias, says, "I think we should go to the Alliance because someone had that prepared."
Awesome.
Yeah, I have the map. I'm prepared.
Yeah.
I knew I had to be prepared for this at all times when Jay figured it out.
That also means tip of the hat to Jay for giving the heads up to the DM too.
Yeah, no, that's great.
Yeah.
Well, Jay was like, "Hey, I got bored. I was looking through some of your lore, and it's not adding up."
That is not what I said at all. I asked you for that part of the lore when I thought I was onto something.
You know, but the thing too, Thomas.
Jay's in his room just like with a bunch of red wires, like with my Google Doc open. He's just like, doesn't add up.
Like that picture of Charlie.
Yeah.
That's Jay's. Like he sent me an
for 3 days.
Isn't it a great feeling though when you get that DM and you're like, he's
Oh,
putting
it was
pieces together?
it was beautiful. I just wasn't expecting it to be this session that
I'm
happened, but
sorry.
it's fine. It's fine.
It came up, and I decided to pull the trigger. I was too excited. All right, so what does the Emperor think?
He would come downstairs and just say, "Good morning, everyone."
Good morning.
What are we gonna do?
That's up to you.
Highness.
We have some ideas, but it's up to you.
You know who I can trust better than I, apparently. Who do do we enlist the help of the Archmage or Armbruster?
I will lay out to him what I laid out to them. This is what I suggest that we do.
If that's what you think's best.
We think it would be best if you came with us. Would you be amenable to that?
Perhaps not in the room. Helbrim is not the fight's gonna get collateral. I don't think that I'd be of much aid. I think I'd get in the way. Perhaps if we do teleport in, we do it somewhere where I can hide.
The decision is ultimately yours, Highness, but I don't think you hide. I think you are there, or you're not.
If he fights, he could bring down towers in the city.
You could.
If I'm there, you'll have to worry about protecting me more than stopping
will.
him. I think
Everything
I stay
you
then.
said is true. Then I think the first thing you need to do, if this is the route that you wish to pursue, is you need to order Nadali and Armbruster to meet us at the teleportation circle and keep Nadali immediately.
And if you could provide us with some kind of writ.
Yes.
And then, of course, I think if I were you, Highness, I would be here, ready to be returned to the capital if needed. The people may need to see their sovereign. They may need to see you when things go sideways to comfort them and know that their leader is here and this is what you wish.
He nods.
Okay, so just real quick. Are we gonna go attack Helbrim right now?
I think that sounds like the plan. Or we're going to try to arrest him.
We're going to attempt to arrest him, but yes, we should be preparing our spells for a fight.
Arresting.
Did we just skip straight to like the end of this campaign?
Nope.
Could have happened.
Yeah, I was worried. I'm glad you asked that question though, because I was worried about that too.
I'm just saying, because are we actually, like, real talk, are we as characters actually ready?
Maybe, maybe not, but I think as characters, I know this is what Jarsali would think would need to be done, regardless of whether or not she thinks that they would make it through or not.
Rogar just fought him beat a level 20 Shadow Blade.
Yeah, he's feeling good.
There's like, I can do anything.
And Kren's been looking for an excuse to kill this motherfucker his entire life, basically, so...
Okay, that's fair. I just wanted to make sure that we were all on the same page of where this is going.
Bard thinks that this is a good day to die, so...
Man, it's going to be awkward when we TPK here, huh?
You just make our save point right now. That way, if we TPK, we can just load back right here.
And just do everything differently, yeah.
And the DM comes back the next session, and that's what it would have been like if you had gone to fight Helgrim right then.
Yep.
And then Drarsali snaps out of her truth seeker.
Right.
Turns out it can see the future.
I did switch cantrips, by the way, Thomas, during the long rest.
Mhm.
Just FYI. So.
Oh yeah, everyone needs to tell me what shit they've got on lock. If all your long rest stuff, if you've got to pick it at a long rest. Let me know. Besides spells, I trust you with spells, but I know Crane's got his thing. Jarsali, you have you can change your spell with your blade song.
Yep.
I'd like
Basically,
to know what those
my
are.
default spell, unless I specify otherwise, is mirror image.
So
Okay.
I
my
got all my rage
concern-
back.
My concern though is like, because I didn't know that we were going to be doing this like right now, unless did we know that this was something we would have done the night before? Because I don't think she would have prepped her spells for that.
Well,
We wouldn't know the night before that it was something that we might be doing.
Yeah,
We just took a long rest and we're waking up now.
yeah, you
and
can totally adjust
we're,
your spells.
We're
as needed.
planning
'cause I
and
was
then
like-
preparing. Yeah, I feel like preparing spells is the kind of thing where like you have to do it before you do anything with them, but like you don't have
It's
to
like
do it immediately when you wake up. Like that's not how that works.
Yeah.
You have to do it before you go.
Your
and
character needs
adventure.
time to do it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it actually takes. Yeah, it actually takes a lot of
It takes
time
time.
for high-level
Yeah.
spellcasters to do it, especially if they're making a lot of changes.
I'm gonna take the resilience,
I'm going to
Thomas.
Okay, yeah, good to know.
I'm going to try to encourage the Emperor. You know, kind of obviously he's crushed. You know, say this is the largest test you've had of your rule and your person.
Should
You
I?
need to be strong.
Is there any way I understand what you're saying about to be there or not to be there. But if things go badly, very badly, wouldn't it be best that I am? Just in case, and he kind of gestures towards the crown. We need
That's certainly a consideration.
this from.
I do want to ask you, Emperor, do you want to see what I saw?
He thinks about it for a while and says, "We've gone on a journey across the world, the greatest journey of my life. At your trust. I trusted you to guard me and to build me, to make sure that I was going on the path I need to do. If you think seeing it would benefit me in any way, then I'm willing to. You've been training me for this long. Is this something that you think would be beneficial to my training as a ruler?"
Well, Highness, what I would say is, I think that depends on yourself. You need to know who you are as a person. When you see this, will it make you angry? Or will it make you more despondent?
I suspect that I'll react the same much I did last night.
Then perhaps it is something that you see later. If it would make you angry, the anger might shield you from your sorrow and give you some courage and decisiveness as you can lean into the anger of the betrayal. But if it will make your heart heavy, perhaps do it another time, when decisive action isn't the order of the day.
He just nods. That's, by the way, Marcus just messaged me. During my long rest, I would like to change my level.
I don't get to change anything, so I figured, why not?
I thought that was funny. I wanted them to hear it.
I do actually have a question about not level up. Well, I guess it's a little bit level up stuff. I just want to check to make sure that my timepiece hasn't changed at all before we do this.
Oh my gosh. I was going to do that at the end of this session.
Okay.
But I was going to do it after SRA, but since we were still in SRA, I didn't do it last time. So I'll post them. I'll post the next tier up for you here.
Okay.
Because I was gonna do that at the end of SRA, but I wasn't gonna do it like mid-session.
Sure. No, I get it.
But
It's
I
become relevant, so it's kind of important.
Suddenly.
Oh, but hey, Thomas, did you just respond with that emoji? I take that as a yes, so I can go up to level 15, right?
Yikes.
yeah.
All right.
Come on. Come on. He beat the king of the elves. He deserves a level.
All right, 16 more health.
That was
Oh
pretty
my
impressive,
God.
even though he wasn't the best.
All right,
Yeah.
I did change a couple of my typically prep spells.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
All right,
I got some doozies with me this time.
this feels like another potentially Heroes Feast situation.
Oh, yeah.
Totally
Oh,
does.
Great call. Heroes Feast breakfast. Heroes Feast pancakes. I love it.
Yeah.
I was like, are we going to show the Emperor the death of his parents? I don't know. Did Boots prepare calm emotions?
I don't have calm emotion. I have greater restoration, and
You
that is
don't-
it.
You don't have calm emotions as a druid?
I don't. I don't have
Wow.
calm emotion.
That feels like something that should definitely be on the druid,
Druid
spell
spell
list.
It does seem that way, doesn't it?
I-
They probably have
I
like calm
don't
animals
have
or
it.
something.
Oh, yeah, something like that.
I don't have that either. I have commune with nature.
Calm Emotions is a bard and cleric spell.
There we go.
Bard. That makes sense. I like that.
Um,
By the way, have any of us ever played a bard? I don't think any of us have.
I didn't want one shots.
Yeah,
I have in
well,
one
not
shot.
including one shots.
I don't think
But-
not included.
Not as a main character.
I have one in the hopper, but
Hmm.
I also
haven't-
have a couple bards that I've thought about as well.
I haven't had the right situation for it yet.
All right, next campaign, we're all bards.
Gives
Thomas,
us
can I
stamina.
can I steal a 1,000 gold piece gem encrusted bowl from someone in this city? By
Well, they
asking
supplied
for it.
us with one before.
I'm sorry. I just give me 1 second to
Yeah.
be annoying
Do your
because I
thing.
gotta
Do your
get
thing.
this stuff.
Do your thing.
I'm gonna just buy it for you. Let's not steal it. I'm just buying it for you.
She was gonna steal by asking. You know, like, can I take this and then leave?
Okay, yeah, I like that.
Corin, what level spells do you have access to?
7th.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Next level is 8.
Oh no! Okay, there we go. I thought I gave you the wrong thing.
So also, it would have been great if she could have done this last night, so she's not using her 1 6th level spell on this. But that's fine.
Well, if we knew that we were doing it,
But we didn't,
that's true.
so she will use her 1 6th level spell on this.
Right as we teleport in, Drogar will blow his horn.
Nice. Is that what you
Let
went and
it-
bought for 1,000 gold?
Huh?
A horn?
Maybe he does special things.
Well, if you blow the horn, you're gonna let everyone know we're there.
By decree
Or will
of the Emperor! Rogar can't speak, but he can blow into a horn.
I'll just put it right up next to Halbrand's ears and blow it and make him
Oh,
deaf.
nice!
It's just like, oh fuck,
the gravity
Not-
halberd comes directly down through the ceiling immediately.
not cool, dude, not cool.
That's a good point though. Like, I feel like our goal should be to get us in there without him knowing, so I can try to hold person him before he can even summon the gravity halberd.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and if
If
so,
we
feel as
get in
much
there
damage
really
as
sneaky,
possible.
you could cast Liamon's tiny hut around him so that the gravity halberd can't actually enter the hut.
Oh. Yeah, I'm just gonna sit here for 11 minutes and cast a spell, and he's not gonna notice.
Well, if he's asleep.
I wouldn't hold our breath on that one.
Nope.
I'm sure he has like an alarm spell around his room or something like
That's
that.
gotta
He's
be
gonna.
something.
At minimum.
It-
I would
Maybe
say
force page.
if we're gonna do this, the first thing we would need is Tokorin to message Nadali and Armsbuster saying, by order of the Emperor, you need to meet us at that teleportation circle tonight at whenever we're going to do it.
And
Okay, there you go. You have 2 new abilities there, Takorin. You have
Deja vu.
Deja Vu and Time Lord.
Oh.
Cast a Force Cage with just me and Halberd inside of it.
I don't know if I like your chances.
He does all force damage.
Oh, 14 extra hit points. Nice.
Yep.
I'm up to 155.
Hot. Take those 14 hit points.
Wow,
That's pretty close to me.
That's huge. That's huge for me.
Absolutely. Yeah, so what I say, I think the first thing we do is we have Tokorin message those two and say, be here at this time. It's not a request. The Emperor is ordering you to do it.
And you are not to notify anyone.
And you are to come by yourself.
This is deep shadow conditions.
Do you have any questions about the mechanics of that watch ability before we get in there, Jay?
I haven't read it yet. I mean, I read Time Lord, but I gotta read all the rest of it.
Okay.
Okay, well, let me read that. Oh, sorry, Nicole, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I was going to say the second thing I would want to do is go see the new King of SRA. And I would request if the Kingdom of SRA would be willing to make a personal loan to the Emperor, any kind of super shackles, magic shackles, dimensional shackles, anything of that nature.
Yeah, they would loan dimensional shackles, but their dimensional shackles are made out of wood from the Elder's Grove, so you have Elder's Grove shackles, but they have the same effects as the dimensional shackles.
Glorious. That's a good start. We will still need to put him in silence and bind his hands, make sure he has nothing on his person to do magic once we get him restrained.
Can he do magic himself, or is it all in the halberd?
I say we don't find out. I think we should assume that he can.
If that's the case, I could not take the hit points and take something else from my cloak. I could take the ability to cast silence once a day.
Might not be bad.
The
Although hit
problem
points would be
is
good.
it would cover the whole room.
Yeah, I think that would hurt us more than him.
Yeah.
Initially. I'm more thinking once he... the big assumption here, obviously, but if we actually do arrest him, we need to make sure he stays arrested.
I mean, we shackle him and gag him.
Yep.
Let's just hope he doesn't make that DC 30 athletic check to break the shackles.
And then also bind his fingers.
I think if your hands are bound, you can't do somatic. Because that you count as restrained, right? And you can't do somatic if you're restrained.
You're probably right. I'm sure we would know what it was, but basically we need to make sure that he doesn't have access to both of those abilities.
Does Jarsali say that we should just cut off his fingers to make sure?
I mean, I don't know if she would suggest it, but if somebody suggested it, she probably wouldn't think it's a bad idea.
Rogar just he went to the blacksmith to buy some scissors to cut Telgrim's fingers off with.
$1,000 scissors or scissors worth $1,000? $1,000 worth of scissors.
Rogar scissor hands.
Am I still prepping scrying?
No, I don't think you need.
Okay.
I don't think you need that.
Okay.
So yeah, I do have a question. So for Deja Vu, it says, I make an enemy to make and experience a painful event twice.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's a wisdom saving throw for them to take the same damage.
Yep, so when they take damage, you can use Deja Vu and they will take the same amount of damage.
So when Rogar explodes his face, you make his face get exploded twice.
Yep. When he takes damage, you can use your reaction to have him take that same amount of damage again.
Glorious.
Nice. Okay.
Looking for either a big spell crit or a crit from Rogar or me.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, pretty much.
Cool.
All right.
Also, Time Lord. That's a really cool way to balance that. I gotta say. Okay. Am I feeling like this is the final tier? It looks like the final tier.
There's one more.
Oh, cool.
Oh shit! Oh shit!
Yeah, so I would message both of them, and I would
The
ask
last
them.
one's less combat impactful. It's more of a utility thing. But what you were messaging who?
Armbruster and Nadali, telling them very specifically that they need to meet us tonight at Nadali's Keep, meet us at the teleportation circle, and to not tell anyone that they are meeting us there.
Adali says, okay. Armsbuster wants to know what it's about.
It's an order from the Emperor.
Right.
I'll tell you when we get there.
Sorry, I would have mentioned it was a direct order from the Emperor.
All right. Yep. Then she'll be like, yep, I'll be there.
And then I guess at the prescribed time, I would go ahead and teleport us there.
Scarf staying behind.
Well, we're going to keep Nadali. We're not going to...
Yeah. We're going to go to Keep Nadali
Okay.
first, collect them, and then go to Helmsbrook.
Scarf is going to stay at Nadali Keep.
You guys...
Or an SRA.
So who's casting the spell, and what's the spell?
I'm casting Teleportation Circle to go to Keep Nadali.
Okay. You cast Teleportation Circle, and it does not connect. It seems that the destination you were trying to teleport to is not the same makeup of teleportation runes that it was before.
Interesting. So now we need to message Nadali again and be like, hey, your teleportation circle isn't working.
I don't know if Decorin wants to use all his spell slots on that.
Is there a tree?
Is if she was there and somebody messed with it, like, is she part of it? Is she in trouble? Like,
Well, you guys know she's not there. She said that she was at the Order of Azure working on their Shadow Plane project.
right, but she said she would meet us there when she was told to, right?
Hmm?
And we haven't received a message from her or anything.
Well, as you guys would be discussing this over the next few minutes, she would message and say, I can't teleport home. I have my own means of getting back, but the circle's destroyed.
Well, perhaps we can pick another place to meet in the city.
What about there's a teleportation circle in the castle?
Now, so I cast Teleportation Circle. It used my spell slot, but it just failed. Right?
How long does Teleportation Circle last?
1 round.
Casting time is 1 minute, but the duration is 1
I'll say
round.
you would. I don't think you'd be able to cast it if it doesn't go through.
Okay.
So he keeps the spell slot.
Yeah.
Does it use and it doesn't use the material, I imagine.
No.
Okay. Well,
My
then,
suggestion.
could I attempt to teleport us into Castle Cade?
But before we do
Rogar
that,
starts
Same thing.
Oh, okay.
Hmm.
Say Rogar was going to say that's a bad idea.
yeah,
We also know that there's a teleportation circle under the exotic Mount Emporium.
It's true.
I'm going to write a note and hand it to Boots. It's going to say, can you use your travel via plants thing?
yeah, I think maybe
No.
we come in.
That's a great plan if I'd had it prepared.
Well, I mean, we can put this off a day.
Oh, would we lose the bot?
Yeah, we just lost music.
I mean, I'm worried now.
I agree.
Like,
I
has
mean,
Helbram destroyed the entire city? Like,
I can teleport us anywhere we've been before. We don't need a teleportation circle, but I can do that but once.
A day? Or
Per
like
long rest. Yeah, once per long
for long
rest.
rest.
Yeah. And I can't even use Arcane Recovery on it. It's too high of a level, so I need a long rest to get it back. Now, I assume Nadali probably has access to teleport too, if she can get to where we're going, but...
I'll send a message to Armbruster. I got to cast sending to Armbruster.
Okay, what are you gonna say?
I tell her that.
Oh, well, actually, hold on.
Well,
I would suggest before you do, why don't you say to Armbruster something to the effect of, "We're at the teleportation circle. Where are you?"
why?
Rogar agrees.
Because I want to see what she says.
Because we don't know if she's with Helbrim or not.
Correct.
Okay. I'll cast sending and I'll tell her that we're at Keep Nadali waiting.
She says, I'm outside the front gate. There's mages here from the Order of Azure that say Nadali's not to be disturbed in her work.
Mm.
Tell her to get away from there. Where could we meet? The three of us. Or us with them.
Under the Mount Emporium's great. I doubt Helbrim knows about it.
But didn't Taraj just work with that guy?
It was how Taraj teleported all his beasts in.
So he definitely knows.
Well,
does he know that we'd know?
There's a bigger conspiracy here. It's not just Keep Nadali, it's Castle Cade. Yeah.
I think we
tried to teleport into Castle Cade and it failed.
Right, so they're doing the teleportation circles, but we don't need the teleportation circles. I would say something like, why don't we... What was the name of that random basement where Armbruster's daughter cast this sleep spell on everybody and
Oh yeah, that tavern
in the grave of the last dragon. Yeah.
Yeah, I just some random ass location. Meet us here and we can just teleport in there.
Oh gosh, what was that called? Club. Hang on, I'm sure I have it somewhere.
Basically some random ass place where they would never think that we would go to.
The Emperor staying here.
Correct. On the flip side of that, if the Order of Azure is with him and Nadali is with the Order of the Azure,
she's in danger.
She is either in danger or working with them.
Club agenda.
Wow, look
Marcus,
at you.
Man.
Look at you with the notes.
I just looked at the session summaries.
The only two people that we told were Nadali and Armbruster.
So
and
all
one
of a sudden
them must have tipped off Helbrim.
Correct, and only one of them is currently with the Order of the Azure.
That being said, Nadali has had so many opportunities to betray us to him and hasn't. It would be weird for that to suddenly shift.
I think it's Armbruster. I think she's lying to us about her being outside Keep Nadali and.
Well, we don't have to tell.
Can I make an insight check based on what she sounds like when she?
Sure.
I mean,
I'll say a disadvantage because it's over message. You can't look at her face or anything, so you don't get as many.
13. Yeah,
you're not sure. You're confused.
So here's my
confused.
Here's my new suggestion. Since we're fairly convinced one of them has betrayed the Emperor and there go us, and we don't know which one, we don't tell either one of them anything. We teleport into that basement. Jason can magically make all of us look like something other than we are, and we just kind of walk around the city a little bit and see what we see.
I don't have seeming prepared.
Ah, some bitch. Okay, well then we just put cloaks up and walk around the city a little bit and see what we see.
About this time to Corin, you get a message from Corin, and he says, "Hey, me. Some weird's going on. There's like a green storm cloud over the castle."
Oh no. He's using that. He had another one of that weapon made, and he's using it.
We basically, whichever one of these two betrayed us, spurred him into action. Well, I think we should let the Emperor know what's going on and ask what he wants to do.
One other
Yes.
thing. Sorry, to cut you off, Brian. Tukorin would, obviously, because he has your memories, he would know that it's not the same as when you guys were in the Shadow Plane. It's like one localized storm cloud, as opposed to like where everything goes bad. Because if they had set off that weapon, Tukorin would know, because he'd be feeling the effects. But there's
Where does he say where it is?
he said it's hovering over the castle. He can see it from the Wayward Tower.
Castlecade.
Yep.
So did we have something that would allow someone to regain a long rest?
We have the dream gem, but it'll break it, the dream stone.
Because I could be able to use transport via plants if I got all of my spell slots back and was able to switch out my spells. And then we could show up
I think
anywhere.
we should try teleporting into the Emporium and see if that works. And if not, then we should use Drasali's teleportation to just get in the city.
I think they know that that's our way in, but I don't know that he knows that we can just teleport. I think we keep your teleportation circle as a way to go back if we need to. And then we just teleport in wherever we feel like they won't think we're going to be there.
Okay. I mean, I have the ability to cast teleportation circle twice, but
depending on how this looks and how it goes, it could be that our most prudent course of action is to go to the Alliance, explain what happened, and...
But I think before we do anything, we should tell the Emperor of all these things and see what he wants us to do.
We tell the Emperor about all this and ask what he wants us to do.
And I think I would tell him, my theory is that our return spurred Helgrim into action, and we only told 2 people of our return.
He'd be panicking a little bit, and he'd be like, okay, what should... We have to do something, right? We have to go now, right? But where? With who?
Well, we can get into the city easily enough, and...
Do you think we've been betrayed? Nadali wouldn't betray us. An Armsbuster has always been about law and order. She would never do something that would be treasonous.
Unless she didn't believe that it was treasonous.
Or unless someone was being held and she needed to protect them.
Or
like
if
her
she was next to
daughter
Hellbrum.
that we can't message.
Oh, good call, Nicole. Well done.
If only I still had scrying.
If you can't message her, you probably can't scry to her either.
That's true.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think there's a lot we don't know. I think a reconnaissance mission might be in order. Just go to the city. We can go look around, get a feel for what's going on, and return, and maybe plan our action from there.
I'm having a good time.
Yeah, great stuff.
I wasn't expecting a lot of this stuff to happen so soon. I've actually had to change a lot of it because there's other parts of the plan that I just decided aren't going to be ready yet, so they're not going to happen.
Nice. That means we cut them off, boys. And
yeah, you guys are in the middle of something that I didn't expect you to be here for, if that makes sense.
It does.
This was all supposed to happen off screen, but now you guys are like a part of it. Which I'm enjoying a lot.
Yeah.
Well, what do we think? To the basement of the club? Or frankly any other random place in the city that we've been to, like just literally some.
So here's a question, Thomas. With message, can you tell if your message gets through?
No.
No.
Sending. You message, but you don't know if it fails or if it's just non-responsive.
But I do think Nicole's onto it. That is the most logical reason for Armsbuster to betray, is he took the daughter, and so she is acting to protect her daughter.
I trust Nadali. I say that we find a place to meet her.
It doesn't make sense for Nadali to have betrayed us now.
Correct, I agree.
when she's had so many opportunities
but
to do
she's
so
also in the
before.
Order of the Azure headquarters, and is she going to be followed? Are they watching her? Has she already been compromised? I would agree if she wasn't already at their headquarters.
Yeah.
So that I think this 5 of us, we just go to the city and we kind of look around. Don't tell anybody we're coming.
Okay,
Go into a weird place.
but the question is, why not tell us? Because Helbram trusts us,
In theory.
in theory. I mean, because I'm thinking Boots and actually this is a good question for Thomas. Boots and Jarsali spent a significant amount of time with Order of Azure, like literally a full year. And so the question is, like, did they see anything there that would have been suspicious? Did they, would they have a reason to understand, or even the opposite, would the Order of Azure have a reason to think that Boots and Jarsali wouldn't be trustworthy in the process that Jarsali went through?
The Order of Azure just in itself was very secretive. There's probably a lot of stuff that they do that you don't know about. But in general, they gave Jarsali a bunch of money, but it wasn't necessarily that you guys are like good friends. It's more like she's the candidate.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but
Not that they were friends, but just like
sure. Yeah, no, you can't think of anything that would tip them off as being like, why wouldn't they trust us or like us or anything like that.
My thought would be, and I think Jarsali's thought would be, she has maintained from the get-go that he has always planned on doing this. And with the daughter being MIA, we sent a message to the mom. The mom reported to Helgrim, hey, they're coming back by order of the king. They won't tell me why. This is where they're going. And he said, well, I've got to act. Something's up.
So he's acting specifically against the Emperor, not against us, per se.
Correct. And we're with the Emperor now. So this is his grab at power. And we are on the other side with the Emperor. And now we're rounding up the council. Every council member mysteriously but him.
Okay. Because that was my question, is why are they excluding us now? What about us is making them act in a sort of, whomever, like whether it's Armsbuster or Helbram or whomever is not communicating with us, why, right?
Well, the Order of Azure and Helbram have been pretty tight for a while. Like, they made that weapon for him in secret.
Yeah, you guys recall that Ndali, who is supposed to be running the Order of Azure, or not running it, but she's their contact, had no idea about it.
She had been, from what...
Kind of forced out.
Yeah, they kind of pushed her out and had been working more closely with Helbram.
He was replaced with Serena, who's, you guys know, is buddies with her.
I almost wonder if the Order of Azure has her chasing ghosts right now.
I think so.
That's also very possible too.
They just got her out of the capital to do the thing. Is my thought.
But if all of a sudden she decides to leave somewhere else, are they going to stop her? Does that put her in danger? Do we put her in danger by asking her to do something? Because that if they're making her chasing ghosts, that means they're watching her, right?
Probably.
Yeah. We should probably message her again, tell her everything that's going down, and tell her she might be in danger.
Why is the Order of Azure even on the side of the general in the first place? But
maybe they're warmongers too.
I don't know, but I think that as much as I like the idea of teleporting in somewhere non-obvious, I think we just teleport back into Castlecade. We got to figure out what's going on. There's no time to waste.
Well, I mean, they'll know it as soon as that happens.
I mean,
we could, if Jarsali uses her teleport to teleport back into the Emperor's parents' room.
Yeah, the Emperor's parents' room. That's my idea.
How long does teleportation circle take to cast?
1 minute.
1 minute. See, because if we're going to go there and we need to have an out, I don't know if we have time to use that as an emergency out. If that makes sense.
Our home's under attack. I'm not sure we're preparing to run away. I think we need to go there and be ready to,
In my opinion,
stop
I think
whatever's going on.
I think the die has been cast already, and we're not necessarily going to stop it. So we should try to figure out what it is.
Because if we teleport in the middle of something we don't know the full gravity of, that could be really bad too.
Like, to me, it's like too late to stop it. So let's figure out what that is.
Okay.
Like, we are the Emperor's chance now, so we can't go get dead.
That's true.
Ooh, I got goosebumps.
All right, so random place, is that the plan?
That's still, yeah, I mean, we
So
still
the plan
we
is-
still don't have the quick out, but I guess, yeah, we can.
Here's a question: Can Tukorin get like all but the last bit of the teleportation circle spell done, and then come back and finish the last bit in one round?
No.
No.
Or alternatively, can we buy a scroll of teleport here?
That's going to be
You could emergency say, we need to scroll teleport right now, we'll pay you back later. I'm the prince.
I will absolutely do that.
Okay.
We will pay it back later or give it back later.
Yeah, if we don't, if we use it, we'll, yeah.
Also,
Alright.
another place we could teleport to is in the valley.
I'm assuming, by the way, as you're doing this, Carson will be like, you need a teleportation scroll. Is everything okay, Jarsali?
Oh yeah, I will update.
Let's can't talk right now. Basically, everyth's going bad. The Empire, there's a big cloud of lightning. I gotta go.
I will definitely update King Khuros on the developments. He is the only person I would tell what was going on without getting the Emperor's permission first to do so.
We could teleport to the stadium.
We could teleport to the valley where we got those one guys
Teleport to the
with
stadium and be like, Hellbrim, I'm calling you out.
What were you saying, Marcus?
teleport to the valley where we found those guys trying to give the information to the Lion spies, where Jarsali slit those guys' throats.
No, I thought that was
Like
over
an
here
alleyway.
somewhere.
Actually, I know where I'm going to teleport us when we're ready.
Okay, well, go ahead.
Are we ready?
Yep.
I'm going to teleport us to that random back alley where I slit those guys' throats as they ran away when we first ran.
That's what Rogar just
Exactly
said.
what I was just
Yeah,
saying.
random back alley. Yeah, there. That's 100% the place.
Now we're leaving the Emperor.
And we are leaving. I
There.
think it's just the 5 of us.
The Emperor
give him-
should be safe in the Elven capital. We hope.
Yeah, and I would ask.
Scarf is there to protect him.
I would ask.
I was
the
gonna
king
say we
obviously
give
to
him-
keep him safe.
The emotional support dog of Scarf. Who,
It's
you
Boots-
know,
It's
Winnie
Boots
thing
mad
all
about it
over.
this time.
no, because she knows that if she brought Scarf with her, he might die.
Yeah.
Because Thomas knows if he ever kills Scarf, I will murder him. So the Emperor has to be safe.
Good logic.
Makes total sense.
I'm gonna
Alright,
put
so-
on my cloak and haunch down, try and be like 5 feet.
To the alley
2
in the
feet
red
low.
in the red light district, I think is where it was, right?
That's in the valley.
Okay, there you go.
You guys appear at the valley. Heavy rain overhead. You look up and you see there's no clouds in the sky. It's a beautiful starry night. But towards the castle, there's one heavy localized rainstorm that flashes with green energy. And it's floating east, slowly but surely. And a whole bunch of people are out in the streets looking up, being confused, pointing, questioning, confused. Some kids are scared and crying. And that's
So
it.
he
You say it's
hasn't
floating
enforced
east?
martial law.
You don't see many guards around. There's like a few that look confused.
You
I
said
know.
it's flowing east, right?
Yep.
Does it look like it started somewhere else over to the side that I can tell and headed that direction, or can I tell if it just started over Castle Cave?
Excuse me, sorry. Based on what you heard from Tukorn, it probably started over there. It started in the middle, but now it seems like it's moving. It would be stationary when you guys got there, and then something would prompt it to move. If that makes sense.
Okay.
It's not naturally flowing. It was stationary, and it's moving in some kind of guided path that's not natural for clouds.
That's that giant lady, I bet you.
What are they moving east towards?
I don't know. Helbram's Keep's over that direction, I guess.
So, where are we going?
Well,
Or are
do
we
we
going to
maybe-
hang out and wait a little bit?
do we go to Keep Nadali and see how truthful Armsbruster was in her description of what's going outside that place?
Yeah, let me go. Crandall.
How far away is Keep Nadali?
Not that far.
Well, we're not
Is
splitting
it
up.
Is
Yeah.
it within a mile?
Within a mile. Probably just over a mile.
If I use clairvoyance, put it up high, would I be able to see?
Clairvoyance. I'd have to read it. You want to
Has
post it?
range of a mile.
You could always just move a little bit closer too.
Yeah, you could do that.
All right, I'm gonna hand a note over to Kryn, tell him to stay put. I'm gonna look over that way, and I'll sit down and cast clairvoyance.
And we all look on confused.
You guys see Rogar's eyes kind of go white for a second as he's looking through his clairvoyance. The keep looks empty. You see a couple guards kind of coming out onto the roof, looking at this thing confused and pointing at it. But there doesn't appear to be anybody at the front gates or anything like that. All the lights are off.
Do I see Armsbruster anywhere?
No.
No,
Order
that
of
looks like
Azure?
Order of Azure.
Nope, nothing like that.
All right, I'll come back out of it and then hand Kryn a note saying no Order of Azure, no Armsbruster in sight.
It looks like Armsbrusters are a traitor.
Or in a
Or,
bad spot.
yeah, or is being coerced.
Probably the latter.
Maybe we pay her a visit at home. She won't expect it.
We could. Of course, I'm sure Helbram would be well informed of our presence if we did that.
Possibly. I suppose it depends on how we get in there.
Either that, or we could go directly to Helbram Keep.
Do we want to confront him yet? We're not even sure what's going on.
At this point, you would guys hear some alarm bells ringing, and you see guards running away from the inner city, just towards the valley, towards the estates. They're just guards are running away from that area, and you hear some of them yelling, "Get away! Quickly into your homes!"
So Boots would have been paying attention to the
Sure.
cloud and trying to observe if there was anything about it that she could glean of like
Ooh,
what it's
Make a
doing.
nature check.
I would also be doing the same thing, but to see if it's in magical in nature.
Yeah. Oh well, it's clearly
Oh
not.
shit!
Ooh.
Boots. Oh my shit! Corin, Boots. You two are familiar with two spells: control weather and call lightning. This is some combination of the two, naturally done by usually some type of storm-type controlling entity.
Oh.
And it's probably following the direction of its caster or its manipulator, and it's definitely going somewhere specific,
Like a storm giant, perhaps.
like a storm giant, perhaps. And as this is happening, the guards running away yell, "There's a giant in the inner city! It's killing guards! Everyone into your homes, quickly!"
What is to the east? Where would it want to go to?
Helbram Keep.
Helbram's Keep.
Suppose. Where is
The
Tomb of
Order of
Heroes.
Azure is taking over.
So is he a part of it or not a part of it?
He's not a part of it.
Are we sure?
I don't think so.
I don't think we're sure.
Let's go towards it.
I mean, Armsbuster Keep is way down here if we wanted to see if... Oh,
I think the Order of Azure has been manipulating some things.
that's a very strong possibility. To stick Helgrim on the throne then? Is he their pawn? Interesting.
Mm.
Or are they going to duke it out with Helgrim right here because it's the only thing that opposes them?
Maybe.
Or maybe it's Nadali the entire time.
Or maybe the storm giant escaped whatever it was trying to do, and now it's trying to wreak its revenge on Helbrim, who was the one who was attempting to take control of it or manipulate it or whatever.
Well,
Oh, we probably won't know unless we go check it out.
I'm telling you, we need to start going towards the storm cloud.
Well, I think two options. It's either try to go talk to Armsbruster or the Storm Cloud. What do we want to do?
The storm
The
cloud.
storm
I'm gonna
cloud.
start walking towards the storm cloud.
Storm.
Yeah.
All right. Storm Cloud it is.
Okay, we'll say over the next hour, you guys make it to the center of the town or close to it. I wouldn't. Not obviously, you guys are being stealthy.
I think we go towards Helbrim Keep because that's where we
I
think
don't
it's
think-
going. We're looking to intercept.
Yeah.
I don't think we were also trying to be too stealthy because it seems like there's a lot of chaos.
Nobody's paying attention to you guys right now, anyways.
Yeah, nobody knows.
I was thinking like it's not like people are like people look
Oh,
familiar.
look, Laura Coin.
So here's the thing: the entrance to the inner city is right here. So if you guys want, there's one here, and one here. So you guys are gonna have to pick one of those.
I think we're probably going to just outside the inner city because it looks
Okay.
like it's leaving the inner city, right? Is
Yeah,
that
we can
what?
do that?
That's what I had in mind.
Sure.
Go around the walls and wait for it on the outside.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
we're trying to do an intercept pattern.
Okay. Yeah.
I assume with how fast it's moving, it's probably gonna go outside of the walls before we even get there, isn't it?
Well, you guys have completed about half of that journey before it stops in this location.
Tomb of Heroes.
Heroes. What is in the Tomb of Heroes that we know of again?
Oh no.
That's where all of the greatest heroes of the empire are buried, and the grandfather as well, and like all the past kings and stuff are buried.
Or is there stuff in there?
Do we?
He's
They're
madman.
buried with their weapons and stuff.
Ah,
This storm giant can raise the dead.
Well,
Ah.
no. It could raise the dead in the other plane because lightning magic was necrotic.
Is this lightning green?
That wouldn't work here unless it was modified somehow.
He did say the cloud was green.
he did say the cloud was green. He wants to raise the grandfather. Then
Maybe he's been in the Shadow Plains for so long, his magic stays like
How
that.
high are the walls to get into the...
They are siege-proof walls.
I mean that makes sense, right? He looked up to the grandfather. He murdered the son because he wanted the warlord grandfather. So that's who he wants to raise and put him back on the throne. The warlord grandfather.
Would we be able to climb the walls or, say, dimension door top of them?
You could definitely dimension door. Climbing them, they're built to be unclimbable. Like this is where the whole city's been destroyed. Everybody that's alive retreats to the inner city. It is a stronghold.
I can polymorph into something that can fly like a great eagle. And
Yeah,
I could carry two people over the wall. Not Rogar.
Two small creatures.
Yeah. Two non-Rogar people.
Hold on, I'm sure.
Well,
I
Boots
can-
is the only other small creature.
Well, yeah. but
Also,
I'm
Booth could transform into something.
yeah.
That's true.
Dimension door would work too.
Hold
I
on,
feel like I should be, as a great eagle, I should be able to, at lower speed, but should be able to carry Jersali and Kryn. And then
It's
Boots,
1 meter for two smaller creatures.
Boots could probably carry Rogar.
My character sheet is being very, very slow for some reason. All right, reload.
Well, we could also just ferry one person over and then fly back.
I mean, I'm pretty sure I have Dimensional Door. That's one of my
Oh,
like,
okay.
always have prepped spells, but my character sheet's being super slow. So.
I also have Dimension Door, so we could just do that. That's the same thing, but it's
Doesn't that only take one person though?
Yeah, but Boots could fly over, and then I could Dimension Door and take Rogar, and she could Dimension Door.
I'm
and
also
take
Take you,
just-
Door, take you.
Slightly concerned that you guys are using a lot of spells.
Do we have rope long enough that
I
someone could just
actually
fly
haven't
up?
really used any spells. Like I used
Yeah.
one sending spell to. The
I've
ones I
only
used earlier, I would have arcane recovered, so I didn't count those.
Yep, I've only used one so far. We're okay.
But yeah,
Okay,
did the
I just
one
want to make sure
sending-
that we have enough.
Yeah, Nadali and Korin messaged me, and the only one I sent out was to Arm Thruster.
Well, is that what we're gonna do? Just dimension door over the wall, and Boots can fly herself over.
I could do that.
All right.
So I only have 2 wild shapes, so that'll be my last animal thing.
You've used 2 already.
No, I need to save one because any
Oh,
battle we're gonna be in, I need my wild shape.
Yeah, but you can
Sure.
stay shaped as whatever creature you want. So if you wanted, you could start fighting as whatever flying creature you wanted.
That's true. but
I know
that
it's
eliminates.
completely counter to your battle style, but
Yeah, it's just I don't ever do that because I'm all of my other stuff is
Ranged,
so much better.
yeah. Well,
All right,
anyway,
so I guess I dimension door Kryn.
I'll dimension door Rogar.
Okay. You guys are on top of the inner city walls then? Is that the plan?
No, we would have just come
On the
up
other
on
side.
the other side of the wall.
Okay. Where at specifically?
Do we do it over
Um,
here or
Over
Has
here,
here?
I'm thinking. Like,
Yeah, I think
near the
close
Tomb of
to-
Heroes.
That's what I was thinking. Near it, but not in it.
Okay, sure.
Like right next to it.
You guys vamp in, and you see 3 figures standing outside the Tomb of Heroes. The first, in her blue Archmage robes, is Serena of the Order of Azure, the epic level spellcaster who runs the Order now that Nadali stepped away. Next to her, you see a storm giant wielding a massive staff made of stone inscribed with runes. It looks like a smaller staff-like version of the rune pillar you guys had encountered previously. And you see next to them General Helbram, the 3 of them standing there.
Who was the first person? Sorry.
The head of the Order of Azure,
Okay.
Serena.
Have they seen us yet?
They don't. They have not seen you now.
Okay, I think we all get low and keep it that way because I don't think this is a fight that we can win.
Yep.
Do we want to stay and observe or get the hell out of here before we're caught?
I will say they don't seem to be looking at you guys at all. They're all looking at the storm cloud. They're focused.
Then I think we stay low and watch what happens and be ready to bolt out of here if needed.
Does it
I mean,
look
I'm
like
a
they're
giant eagle.
Go
Does
ahead.
it look like they're afraid of the cloud or they're expecting something to happen?
They're looking at it intently, but not frightened.
No.
It seems like the staff that the storm giant has allows her to keep the effects of the shadow plane even when she's not in it. They gave up on the rune pillar idea and decided to localize it.
So it's definitely a necrotic cloud.
It looks like a necrotic cloud because it's green.
Okay.
Green always means necrotic. It's the universal necrotic language.
Just checking.
This is not going to be the popular opinion, but I don't want to run away from this.
I don't want that fight, dude. Against however high level spellcaster is. We were debating whether or not we could take Helbram with all of us.
By himself when we
plus
caught him
the-
off guard.
Plus the storm giant, plus the super high level spellcaster. I'm
And we
not
don't have
interested in that.
Nadali or Armsbreaster like we were planning in the first place.
I don't know if Armsbreaster would be any good in a fight, but Nadali would.
Right.
Well, she
yeah.
would at least have
Buster
her.
has one move. She's got her ring.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I could,
which was pretty strong if I
I
remember
could cast
correctly.
a message to Nadali and ask her if she can teleport to the Tomb of Heroes.
But I don't think even with Nadali we'd still be able to take all of them.
I don't think so either.
I could polymorph one, and I don't know.
I don't think so.
I'm guessing Helbram's going to have legendary resists. The mage might as well. The mage is going to have super high wisdom and intellect saves.
The giant will also
well,
probably have some
will they
legendary
though?
resist.
They're people. They're not monsters.
I mean, we've fought people
True,
who had
but
legendary resists before.
So you guys know that Serena is equivalently powerful to Nadali. She just doesn't have as much status. She is her replacement, so she's at least respected enough by Nadali to replace her.
Sure.
Yeah, I think this is a fight we cannot win.
I, as the DM, have no idea.
I think
Zero.
discretion is the better part of valor. We're here to figure out what's going on. We can stay here and figure out what's going on and then leave to try to deal with it.
I mean, my question just goes back to, so they're just trying to keep the Emperor out of it. They're not trying to keep us out of it, right? Like, there's no reason they would attack us on site. Not that that's something I necessarily want to risk.
Well, if Armbruster told them about us, about,
Coming in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
then they probably
they
would.
and
They know
Helbram is
that we would go.
he's basically paranoid schizophrenic at this point.
Also,
Yeah,
I just have a really great idea for what to do with Helbram if we don't fight him now.
Oh, yeah.
to just really add to this dream every night.
Oh, you should. Oh my god, you should.
I'm so mad I didn't think of this earlier. Anyway.
So we're just gonna sit here
I think
hiding and
so.
watch.
I mean,
mean,
if you
if everyone
want,
wants to-
if you want, I can cast teleportation circles so that we're ready to just bamf out. You know, scribble
Yeah, I
on the
think-
ground and.
Yeah,
I'm
I
an
think we should
eagle.
have that ready.
I'll fly away.
And then we want. I mean, if
That's not my vote, but I'm outvoted, so it's okay. I'll prepare to run if that's what you guys want to do.
I definitely don't think we can take them right now. And I don't think that's something that we should risk when we can.
ditto.
Maybe
Be
see if
smarter
one of
about
them is left alone. Go for that one.
We're the Emperor's hope.
Well, as you guys are, go ahead.
Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. I really have nothing else to say.
You guys watch as the cloud channels and glows with green lightning, and a single bolt slams down into the Tomb of Heroes.
Also, I have the question of, I wonder, and this is just, a generic, maybe someday it'll be answered. What is, if they're raising the grandfather, how is he going to feel about the fact that Helbram murdered his only son?
We also don't
he's
know
a
if it's a
warmongering,
grandfather that's
bloodthirsty
being
conqueror.
raised.
Yeah,
Yeah, but it's also that blood is thick.
sure.
Should we see who's raised first?
Yeah, sorry.
You guys watch as the lightning blasts through the top, the roof shatters, stone flies everywhere, the columns around the outside where all the statues of each hero was collapse and fall to pieces. And you see coming out of the entrance of the mausoleum 4 figures. The first, you see a human with a massive great bow that rivals the size of Rogar's bow. You see a young woman with a coat that seems to be made of small daggers. You see another human who doesn't appear to carry any weapons, but he walks with just an air of confidence about him. And then you see, lastly, stepping out in ceremonial emperor's garb, his once beautiful face now decayed and broken. Each of them have stabbed into them these long black spikes that cackle with dark necrotic energy. You guys recognize these are the spikes that all the undead in the shadow plane had in them that allowed them to channel the energy. You see who you presume to be, based on paintings you've seen, the decayed armored corpse of Gaston Cadron, Elwyn's grandfather.
So that you said there were 4?
Yep, 3 of the Empire's greatest heroes ever, and the Emperor.
And I would assume the other 3, if we know anything about them, are they like his people?
You can make a history check if you want.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm going. Nah, I probably wouldn't know, so I won't.
Jarsoli knows exactly who every one of them is. Their age when they died, their favorite food, their favorite
social
color.
security numbers.
Were
Right?
they under the reign of this emperor, one before, or not?
That's a lot of natural 20s, by the way. I'm starting to get suspicious, and I rolled one of those natural 20s.
The first is Nordek. He's a human that existed before the grandfather's time. During the culling of the dragons, when the dragons were brought to near extinction, he is known to be the most prolific dragon slayer with the highest number of dragons slain ever to exist.
Great. What about the other ones?
The next one is her name is Rana Truthsplitter. She was one of Gaston Cadron's posse. Before he became the emperor, they were part of an adventuring party together, and she, after the empire was formed, was in charge of torture.
Cool.
Beautiful.
And then the third you recognize as the very first head of the Order of Azure, said to be one of the most powerful mages ever to exist in any world, in any plane ever. And his name is just Abrar.
Mordenkainen.
I might have messed up not interrupting this thing.
Well,
Could we have?
I don't know.
Well, it's too late now, and I'm going to.
Oh, and there's also the opportunity that we won't have to take them all on at once. I think it's the problem. So we may be able to destroy many of these people, even in smaller groups.
Hopefully.
Well, hypothetically, if you pull the spike out of their chest, they just die.
Also, they may be very susceptible to radiant damage.
True.
What do they do when they get out?
They step out. Some of them are just kind of looking around, like confused. They seem like they're still getting their bearings about them. And then you watch as Hellbrim runs over, hugs the decaying corpse of Gaston Cadron. The two embrace. Gaston kind of collapses, hugging him around the waist. And Serena just has this look of like giddy, like she's just like very excited. She looks just like a kid who's just gotten a new present for Christmas. She seems incredibly excited, and the giant stands there with a serious look on her face. And Hellbrim kind of stands up. He says, Gaston, there's much to tell you. I'm just glad not to be alone anymore. This band of broken heroes can fix the broken world. And Gaston just kind of looks around. He looks like he's still trying at like having trouble like getting his movement together, and he just says, Hellbrim, I'm undead. And he says, yes, it was the only way. I'm sorry. And he just seems to be taking that in a little bit. We must have much to discuss. And Hellbrim just kind of nods, and they start walking off towards Hellbrim Keep.
I guess.
Does anything about the giant's mannerisms look like they're unwilling in this?
She just looks serious. Make an insight check.
20.
She looks like she's not excited about this. Like this isn't her goal, but she doesn't look unwilling about it. She looks like, all right, let's get this over with because I got stuff to do.
Okay, so this is part of some bargain for her, probably.
That's what you get out of it, yeah.
I just walk up, hand the encoded thoughts of the Emperor's dead son, and then walk away.
You try to walk up, they all turn
Walk
and
up.
kill you.
Here you go. Goodbye.
As this is happening, you're watching them walk off and deciding what to do next. Takorn, you hear a message from Adali that says, it's a trap. The Order of Azure, they tried to assassinate me. Whatever you are, you need to get out. You need to get somewhere. Where are you?
I'll tell her we're at the Tomb of Heroes.
Before you can even finish that, she vamps right there. And she's covered head to toe in blood. And she just says, I killed a lot of mages.
I'll just put my finger to my lips like, quiet.
We'll just point out the one that as they're walking. I don't know. I mean, assume that they're still in eyesight, and she can look herself.
Yep. She looks around. She goes, "Oh dear God, the Emperor." She looks back at you. Is he
safe?
He's safe. Perhaps we should return to him and find a way to get his kingdom back.
That's all I needed to hear. I will do the last marking, and we will bamf back to the Uplands.
And that's where we'll end the session.
We'll bring Nadali with. We'll bring Nadali with us, of course.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, absolutely. And you guys can level up.
Oh,
hey.
Wow, that was quick. We just leveled up last session.
Well, do you see what we're gonna have to?
The timeline's been a little accelerated.
I'm sorry.
That is great art, by the way, of that guy. It's just as I imagined he would be. I assume you do a lot of what I'm doing. You just kind of peruse online of art pieces. Isn't it great when you find that perfect one, though?
Yeah, I just follow a bunch of like D&D art pages, and if I see one that's like, ooh, save image.
Pretty much.
I re-rolled my 1 hit point to a 9.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, I got the whole bad guy squad together earlier than I thought I would.
I'm really proud that Jay in particular kicking it off, but also I'm sure
Jay,
Nicole
great job.
figuring it off, figuring out that they're going to raise the grandfather. It's good work all around.
Yeah, I had that plan since before you, or since you guys met the first undead people in the shadow plane.
I don't want to stop playing though.
I have to prep.
Well, what if we go to the Alliance today? We were prepared to do that already, right? Can we go to the Alliance?
Not under these circumstances, you were not. Yeah, you guys could, if you guys want to go to the Alliance and pretend like none of this happened, we can do that.
No.
Otherwise, I need time to think about how this is going to affect other things.
Well,
Okay.
If we went to the lines to try to get an army for him, it would.
You
take
guys
so
disrupted
long to
several
get
parts of
them.
the plan, by the way, by being there that early.
good to know.
Whew.
Yeah, that was my thought too, Thomas. By the way,
What was?
going to the Alliance and trying to raise an army on behalf of the Emperor.
Yeah, we can do that next time.
Yeah.
Probably take too long to get that army raised, and then come here, they'd have a lot more set up by then.
Well,
God,
the
I
other
had a
thing-
custom 8th level spell that I was not prepared to pitch to you, but now I'm going to have to.
And now I have the whole bad guy squad, the Sinister Six.
That's a group from Spider-Man.
I know.
Huzzah! Max hit points.
Don't forget to take away your. I'm so glad we did a heroes feast so we could just sit by the sidelines and not fight anybody.
Would have gotten so murdered.
Okay, but if you guys got into a fight there, it would have been very nice to have.
It's true.
Yes.
You gotta remember to take
Better-
14 HP away.
Better to have it
been
and not need it.
prepared. Yeah.
And honestly, the teleported to Hellbrum's room plan could still happen. He's still gonna be he still sleeps in that bed.
Well,
That plan's not completely off the table.
Sure, but it's not just killing him now. There's.
But getting him out of the way, it's one less big obstacle.
It's true. Picking them off one at a time is probably a better idea than. And I'm not completely convinced we're gonna have to fight the lightning giant.
No, but I think if we had done it there, we might have had to.
Yeah, probably.
So what we need to do is teleport to Helpum's room, put those shackles on him. You polymorph him to like a mouse or something. I put him in the bag of holding. Just let him suffocate to death.
I can cast sending to anybody, and they can respond telepathically. So like, I can try to reason with her. I sent her a message already, just asking how she was, and she just didn't respond. But now I can be like, we saw you raise them. If you want, we can try to get you out of whatever they're forcing you to do. If they're forcing this on you, or what is it you're
Not sure if
wanting?
that's a
We'll
good
pay you
idea.
double.
That
The
might
Order
put
of
them more on
Azure is
guard.
not to be trusted, etc., etc. I have
Order
over 100
against
hit
that.
points now. Yay!
Nice.
I've over 200 hit points now. Yay.
It's going to be very interesting for me over the next few sessions as we reach kind of the final arc of the campaign to see who you guys align with, who you don't, what old friends show up again. It'll be I'm excited for it. That was a lot.
Mm-hmm.
What a coincidence, Boots.
I'm sure that's not related at all.
You guys will also know, obviously, from your time in the Shadow Plane, that they get weaker the longer they go without a re-jump.
Uh-huh.
Because they were all shambling around all pathetically, and then Boots jumped them with some lightning, and they got all lively and happy.
Would we know if removing those spikes would kill them? Re-kill them? Whatever.
Seems like a fair assumption.
So Rogar's got to run in there, grapple, and do an athletics to yank the spike out of him.
Nope.
Nope. I'll try then. Nope. Oh,
Wait,
but hey,
I'm raging.
if you're raging, you have advantage. There you go.
Yeah. All right, so that's on the first two. Those are the
I've
other
been
two.
muted this entire time.
Oh,
I think so. But yeah, I
No,
also took Sunburst.
yeah, I'm really excited to use that spell.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if there is the possibility that I could work with not Jarsali, well, also maybe Jarsali, but Nadali about changing my call lightning to radiant damage, which would make for interesting on those spike things.
Do you think it'll be possible? I mean, I guess it'll depend on what our planning stages are, but do you think it might be possible for me to finish the thing I'm working on, Thomas, before we have to engage with these 6?
Metagame wise, I'll let you know that there is. I don't expect you guys to have the final encounter in like the next few sessions. There's still we're like 3/4 through the campaign. There's still a good chunk left where stuff's gonna happen.
Mm.
I mean, look, you guys gotta go. You guys gotta do all these things. You gotta do this thing.
Yeah,
You gotta do all your things.
defeat his thingy, and
Yeah, you gotta do this thing. There's still some stuff
I
to get
have
done.
so many plans that haven't come to fruition yet. It's unfortunate. But I mean, I guess I'm glad that we've still got time to do stuff. But
Perhaps you guys might have a little bit of downtime now while you figure out what your next move is.
Who would have known that SRA would become the base for the Emperor's resistance?
The Emperor's resistance against the Empire.
Right. I warned him. As soon as you leave, this guy's going to take over.
I'm gonna go to bed because I'm tired.
Good night,
Okay,
Nicole. Hope
good
you had fun.
Good night, everybody.
I'm getting off as well.
well, I guess
See
that's
ya.
a good time for me to end the recording.
Woo.
It's going to be so sad when I'm